What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise post-game show. The Blazers beat the Nuggets by a score of 132 to 116, and the Nuggets is who they're going to face in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Hope everybody enjoyed today's day of basketball. If anybody's wondering where Eric is, he had something pop up. He will unfortunately not be able to do the show today. Hope everything's all right with him. I don't know what happened, but he couldn't be here, unfortunately. But I have you covered. I will do my best in a solo stream in what should be a pretty enjoyable stream, because the Blazers end up taking care of business. They don't have to play in the play-in, and they also get the team that they wanted to play in the Denver Nuggets. The Blazers are the 6th seed. The Nuggets are the 3 seed. I will recap today's entire day of action. I'm still collecting my thoughts. This was pretty crazy to watch how this all played out live. You had the Dallas Mavericks lose. They tanked. I don't think they played Luka. I haven't looked at the box score, but they didn't seem like they were trying to win that game. You had the Clippers lose to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Alexis Pokusevski hits a go-ahead 3 in the final minutes. Former Blazer Moses Brown has a phenomenal game against the Clippers. If the Clippers won that game against the Thunder, that's who the Blazers' first-round matchup would be against. It'd be against the Los Angeles Clippers. So former Blazer Moses Brown takes things over. He has 24 points, 18 rebounds, 3 assists, and 7 blocks on the game. Huge shout out to Neil Olshey for letting Moses Brown go to the Oklahoma City Thunder so they could beat the Clippers tonight and give us a first-round matchup against the Denver Nuggets. Kind of funny how things played out. But yeah, so the guy's house gets saved. I know that's been a meme going around. His house gets saved. The Blazers finish the season with a 42-30 record, and they get the 6th seed. Now, had the Lakers lost that final game against the New Orleans Pelicans, the Blazers would have gotten the 5th seed, but it wouldn't have been good. They would have gotten that first-round matchup against the Clippers. So the Lakers also beating the Pelicans helped the Blazers get a more favorable matchup against the Denver Nuggets. The playoffs are set. I'll go over them for both conferences. But first, let's just talk a little bit about this game. I'm not going to break down this game a lot. This was a game that Denver came out and didn't really seem to be putting their best foot forward. They played solid players. Jokic played 17 minutes. Rivers played 21. Gordon played 12. Michael Porter Jr. played 15. Campazzo played 14. So they had their starting lineup playing, but they didn't play heavy minutes, and they didn't play in the fourth quarter. The Blazers had control of this thing from the get-go, though. Even against their starters, their starting lineup wasn't really playing with a whole bunch of effort, so to say. The Blazers definitely looked like the team playing for more, and they were definitely playing for more in this one. So now, yeah, they get the Nuggets once again, and in the playoffs it won't look anything like this. But the Blazers came out shooting hot. They have 43 points in the first quarter. There was really not much doubt about this game the entire night, which made it easier to kind of track other games, having a feeling that the Blazers were going to be able to take care of business here. I will be honest, I didn't really watch the second half of this Blazers game. I was more focused on OKC and the Clippers and the Lakers and the Pelicans. So I was heavily focused on those games because they mattered more. The Blazers had things pretty taken care of throughout this one. The Blazers are led by CJ McCollum, who had 24 points, 5 assists in 31 minutes. He's 9 for 17, 5 for 9 from three-point line. Damian Lillard has 22 points, 10 assists, 7 for 13 from the field, and 5 for 9 from the three-point line as well. Yusuf Nurkic had 18 points in the first half. He finishes with 20 points in 20 minutes, had 13 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks, a steal. He's 8 for 10. He also hit his only three-point attempt. The Blazers as a team shoot 42% from 3. They were on fire tonight, and now they get the Denver Nuggets in the first round. So, do you guys want me to go over this game a little bit more, or do you guys want me to look ahead? I will do this according to what you guys want, because I am more than happy to look ahead at this Denver Nuggets series that the Blazers have coming up. I'll start breaking it down. We will also talk about it Monday night, tomorrow night. Blazers Uprise Live will be at 9:30 p.m. tomorrow night. The reason for the time change is non-game days in the playoffs. On Monday and Thursday, we're going to do Blazers Uprise Live later in the night at 9:30 instead of 3:30. So that is the one change. And hopefully Eric will be able to be on that show once again. I don't know what's going on with him. Hope everything is all right for Eric because I know he definitely didn't want to miss this post-game show. So hopefully he's on tomorrow and we can break this down more. I'll also have a video breaking down the Denver Nuggets as a team. I'll also drop a mailbag if you have questions about this series. I'll drop that maybe Wednesday. I will post a prompt. The Blazers get at least... The playoffs start the 22nd, so they get at least 6 days of rest. The 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, that's 5 days of rest. They get at least 5 days of rest. Their first round game might be on the 23rd, because the way the NBA generally does it is there's 4 games on the first day and then 4 games on the second day, although I feel like the 4 games that are going to be on the second day are going to be the 4 series that involve teams winning their way into the playoffs through the play-ins. So I would expect the Blazers to end up playing on the 22nd. That, of course, is going to be a Saturday. That's the first day of the NBA playoffs. So we have some time. The Blazers will be able to get some rest. Dame was able to get some rest. Dame is peaking at the right time. CJ McCollum has been shooting the ball well the past few games. This is a team that's peaking at the right time. And now they get a first-round matchup that I think the Blazers could maybe be favored in. At this point. Denver's played good since losing Jamal Murray, but talent-wise, I don't think anybody's going to make the excuse that the Nuggets have more talent out on the floor than the Portland Trail Blazers. So the Blazers get a path to the second round. This is definitely the best matchup they could have gotten. You have a Nuggets team struggling at the guard positions. Losing Jamal Murray really hurts. They got Nikola Jokic, who should be the MVP, and I expect he will be. On top of that, though, you got Aaron Gordon, which is going to be an interesting player in the series because he's been a major talking point for Blazer fans. I'm going to lose my mind if we lose this series because of Aaron freaking Gordon. Can't have it. Then you got Michael Porter Jr. That's kind of the big 3 for the Nuggets. They also got Paul Millsap. That's kind of the 4 notable players that they have going into the series. Beyond that, though, this isn't a team with a lot of depth. This isn't a team that is really strong 5 on down. Let me try and find a box score just to kind of preview what the rotation should look like. Let me find a box score from a game they were actually trying to win. Nope, that's the start of the season. So their starting lineup is Campazzo, Austin Rivers, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Jokic. Now, they might go big and play Michael Porter Jr. at the 2. That could present some matchup problems for the Blazers. Michael Porter Jr. at the 3, though, also still presents matchup problems since Norman Powell wasn't the biggest 3. Michael Porter Jr. is 6'10". So slowing down Michael Porter Jr. is going to be one of the biggest keys in the series for the Blazers. But Campazzo and Austin Rivers as their starting guards. The Blazers have such a huge advantage in the backcourt, and they have the front court defenders to match up against the Nuggets. You got Robert Covington that you can throw at Aaron Gordon, which I think is a good matchup for Rocco. People say he's not the best on-ball defender, but I think that's against guards. Against an Aaron Gordon-type player, I think he'll be just fine on the ball. I think he can do a good job against Aaron Gordon. You got Yusuf Nurkic versus Nikola Jokic. The Nuggets, of course, gave up on Nurkic and traded him to Portland for Mason Plumlee back in the day. They chose Jokic over Nurkic. As much as I love Nurkic, that's obviously the right choice. But now, Nurkic has a chance to exact some revenge. Now, he wanted to get traded, so maybe he shouldn't be feeling revengeful. But this is going to be an interesting matchup for that storyline, for Nurkic starting his career with the Nuggets. We've already played the Nuggets before in the second round. Nurkic, of course, wasn't able to partake in that series. This one he will. I'm very excited to watch Nurkic against Jokic. That is going to be a ton of fun to watch. Off the bench, if they start Millsap, they really don't have anybody too notable. But they've been bringing Millsap off the bench for the most part. Their bench consists of Paul Millsap, JaMychal Green, and then a bunch of no-names. Zeke Naji, Shaquille Harrison, Marcus Howard, Vlatko Kankar. Bol hasn't been playing for them, even though they have no depth. So this is a team whose bench is very, very bad for a playoff team. So the Blazers are going to have to win their bench minutes. The Blazers have a better bench. Now, is their bench cohesive? You got the Melo and Kanter pairing. That's something to watch. Maybe Terry Stotts can split those up and maybe cut their minutes a little bit and be able to stagger them and kind of negate that bad defensive pairing. Either way, the bench lineups are going to be interesting to watch. Shout out Andrew Hartwell, $5 dono says, here's some more money. Appreciate it, Andrew. What's going on, chat? I will take your questions and whatnot on this series right now. Since Eric is not here, we will be able to kind of dive into your questions a little bit more and communicate with you. So if you have a question about this series or something that you want me to preview, a player you want to talk to me about, let me know. People saying Barton injured. Barton is injured. I don't expect him back. It seemed like it was a pretty serious injury. I didn't stay updated on that, though. Let's see if there's any... I'll see if there's any updated news on that. Because Will Barton is a player they desperately could use right now. And it sucks to see him go down. Denver has kind of been snake-bitten by injuries. This is kind of the opposite scenario. Portland, when they came up against Denver in the second round in 2019, they were missing Yusuf Nurkic. So they were kind of bit by the injury bug. Now Yusuf Nurkic is back. The Blazers are healthy going into the series. The Nuggets are without Jamal Murray and Will Barton. When Will Barton got hurt, it was said that he's out for the foreseeable future. So I would not expect him in this series. I don't know exactly what the injury is. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. If anybody has an update, let me know. Shout play-by-play $5 dono says, we got the Nuggets, baby. We have a chance to make some noise now. Happiest day for a Blazers fan in a minute. The cards fell perfectly. Now it's go time. And yes, the cards fell perfectly. Now, if you're a Blazers fan, you're probably rooting for the Warriors to beat the Lakers, because the Warriors and Lakers, that's going to be a phenomenal playing game. I love the playing idea. I thought it made the end of the season phenomenal to watch. I thought it made the end of the season very captivating. Now you have Warriors versus Lakers. Steph versus LeBron. Now, LeBron might not play. LeBron turned his ankle in this game again. The Lakers without LeBron might not be in the playoffs. If he can't go against the Warriors, I think the Warriors should be favored in that game. They've been playing well. If the Warriors win that game, you got the Suns as a 2 seed, the Warriors as a 7 seed. That would be the matchup there. And then the Blazers as a 6 seed versus the Nuggets as a 3 seed. That would be one half of the bracket. So if the Warriors can win, the Blazers would not have to face the Lakers or the Clippers until the Western Conference Finals. That would be a pretty similar path as they had in 2019 when they didn't have to face Houston or Golden State until the Western Conference Finals. Of course, they got swept by Golden State. But it lines up pretty well for a potential Western Conference Finals run if the Warriors can beat the Lakers. And honestly, even if the Lakers win, I think the Suns can give them a run for their money. If anybody has an update on the Will Barton injury, it sounds like maybe he might play because they were kind of updating his injury. I don't really know what the deal is with Will Barton. So, yeah, can't really find anything like definitive. So, maybe don't 100% expect him to miss the series, but I don't know. He's been out for a while. That's Will Barton's status. Definitive One says, real contenders don't hope and pray for a specific opponent and rejoice we got them. We will not make any noise at all unless winning one game is making noise. Well, Definitive One, the way we play, I don't really necessarily think we're a real contender. Obviously, we're going to probably have to beat the Clippers at some point, but I would rather, if we're not going to beat the Clippers, I'd rather lose to them in the Western Conference Finals in the first round. You know what I mean? I'd rather have a run. I'd rather enjoy a playoff run, much like 2019. It's like we lost to an injured Warriors team. And we got swept. So it's not like we were a real contender, but wasn't that playoff run a lot more fun than had we lost to the Warriors in the first round? I would say so. Dame's buzzer-beating shot against OKC, that Game 7 road win against the Nuggets, that was a lot more fun than if we just played Golden State in the first round and lost. Now, as far as the team, they should have the mindset that they can beat whoever, whenever. People were telling me to check Dame's tweet. I don't understand why. Oh, he's talking about the guy with the house. Dame says, let me see the ticket. Yeah, that guy, I don't think that guy was telling the truth. Everybody that thought that guy was telling the truth, you guys bought it hook, line, and sinker. Are we streaming in the playoffs? Of course we're streaming in the playoffs. Of course. Why would we stream all season long, all regular season, just to not stream in the playoffs? Of course we're going to stream in the playoffs. We streamed in the playoffs last year. Now it was against the Lakers. That Game 1 post-game stream was absolutely lit. The next 4 was miserable. So that's also why I want to go on a playoff run, man. Imagine the post-game streams. It would be a lot of fun for this community. This channel didn't exist yet back in 2019. At least, May 2019 when we went on that run beating OKC and Denver in the playoffs. So I want a playoff run. The Blazers have a chance to do it. 100%. Thank you, AJ. Appreciate it. Or you're welcome. Appreciate the kind words. Appreciate you thanking us. So I tweeted out the scenarios all day long. If you don't follow me on Twitter, my Twitter handle is at ToryJonesYT. Eric's is at HoopsJock. You can see the icons. I left them both up here. But yeah, I was trying to keep you guys updated. I know it was very confusing. And I tried to keep you updated throughout the day, throughout these games. Connor's asking what happened to Eric. I don't know. Eric just messaged me, said he couldn't make the stream tonight, which, I assume it's something, obviously it's not a choice if he couldn't make the stream, because I know he definitely wanted to be on this stream. So I don't know what happened. Hopefully everything's all right with Eric. Hopefully it's not something too serious. It could be Eric owns a business, so it could be something like that. But I'm not sure. I'm not going to speculate on it. What's up, Portland Made? Yeah, so let me just go over what the play-in games are. Let me kind of go over the playoff bracket. Actually, let me see if there's a picture somewhere of the playoff bracket, and I can throw it up on stream. You go to images.google.com. The thing is, normally when I do this, Eric would start talking. The problem is he's not here, so might be a little dead air here, but what am I gonna do here? NBA playoff bracket 2021. If you guys have a link to the playoff bracket, a picture of it, DM it to me on Twitter, and I can throw it up on stream. That would be clutch. That would be absolutely clutch. I think I have it here. Is this updated? It's not fully updated. This West picture is correct. All right, I'll just use this. The East isn't fully updated, but I'll use this for the West. Shout out to Sean Paul, $3 dono. Says Tory equals go. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, man. I'm going to try and do my best with this post game without having Eric here and trying to cobble everything together. Here we go. Bracket. Let me try and toss this up here for you guys. All right, so this is the playoff bracket for the West. The East isn't updated, but this is actually how the West looks like. I think this is how it looked going into today, so I don't think any standings changed. But you got Portland, Denver, 3-6. Why is Denver's background red? I don't know. But yeah, you got Portland, Denver in that 3-6. You got Phoenix as a 2 seed. The winner of LA and Golden State will face Phoenix. The loser will play the winner of Memphis and San Antonio and play Utah. So I don't know what the status is on LeBron James. If anybody has an update, drop it in chat. Hopefully I'll see it. But yeah, that's what the West is looking like. You got Utah against probably the loser of LA and Golden State. That's not going to be an easy series. Even if it's Golden State, It's not going to be an easy series. Steph's been playing phenomenal. It's a Warriors team with playoff experience, a good head coach. It's going to be a really hard 8 seed for Utah. Utah's going to have to overcome some playoff demons. 4-5, you got a rematch of last year's first-round series with the Clippers and the Mavericks. Can the Mavericks actually get over the hump against the Clippers? They took them to 6 games last season. So it's going to be really interesting to see which team has grown more. The Clippers, after choking that 3-1 lead against the Denver Nuggets in the second round last year, or the young Dallas Mavericks, which got their first taste of playoff basketball last season. Luka's taken another step this year. That's going to be a fun series to watch. 3-6, you got Denver versus Portland. Of course, we already know that. But yeah, the playing games on the West, you got LA and Golden State. I'm looking forward to that playing game. That's going to be phenomenal to watch, assuming LeBron plays. If LeBron doesn't play, it's still going to be phenomenal, because here's the thing. If LeBron doesn't play, I think the Warriors are favored in that game. If LeBron doesn't play, I think it's likely that the Lakers are playing for their season before the first round even starts. They might not be in the top 8, because if LeBron doesn't play, I mean, I could see Memphis and San Antonio beating them. So this Western Conference play-in is going to be really interesting to watch. On the Eastern Conference side of things, let me see if anybody DM'd me a picture of the... I got 6 message requests, so shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody that messaged me a picture of the standings. Let me see if I can find the best looking one to put up on stream. Yeah, I'll just save one of these. Here we go. For the Eastern Conference. Because I do want to look at the Eastern Conference. I know we've been talking about the West this entire time. But I want to look at the East. And actually, I don't even need to throw it up. The only thing different with the Eastern Conference is the 7-8 playing game is Boston versus Washington. And then the 9-10 is Charlotte versus Indiana. That's the only difference on this bracket. So I'll just leave this up. Appreciate everybody that sent that to me. Shout out Anime Jake, $2 donut, says chances the Jazz pull the Bucks in the playoffs. It's going to be interesting to watch because they've lost in the first round the past couple years. Now they're the 1 seed. So, they're obviously much better in the regular season this year than they were the past couple years. It's going to be interesting to see how much of that improvement translates to the playoffs. But as far as the Eastern Conference goes, you got the 7-8 play-in, which is going to be Boston and Washington. Okay, so Charlotte, that's the only thing different. Charlotte and Washington, just flip them. Boston versus Washington is going to be interesting. Boston doesn't have Jaylen Brown anymore. Washington's been playing insane. They looked dead in the water early in the season. They have come back and played their way all the way up to 8th. Now, the thing is, the winner of that series gets Brooklyn. The winner of that game gets Brooklyn. I think teams would rather be the 8th seed and play Philadelphia than the 7th seed and play Brooklyn. But Boston, Washington will be playing to win because I don't think you want to risk a one-and-done game just to try and get Philadelphia over Brooklyn. It's not enough of an incentive to risk your season on one game. Now, Indiana and Charlotte's going to be interesting. Can Charlotte play their way into the playoffs? They were kind of in the top 8 all season long. Injuries hurt them. If Gordon Hayward and LaMelo Ball never get hurt, they're definitely in the top 8 still, I think. But now they're 9th, so Indiana is going to be an interesting series to watch. Both those teams have just been ravaged by injuries. But Indiana has some players. If they can put out a healthy lineup in that game, it's going to be fun to watch. I'm really looking forward to this play-in. I think the play-in was a great idea. Milwaukee is playing Miami again in the first round. Will Milwaukee avenge their demons and beat the Heat? Of course, the Heat beat them last year in the 1-5 series. Miami being the 5 seed, they won their way all the way to the NBA Finals. Or have the Heat regressed? Are they worse? That series is going to be so much fun to watch. And you will get one of the New York Knicks and Atlanta Hawks in the second round. The Knicks versus Hawks. I can't believe that's a playoff series. That's going to be phenomenal. So that is what the playoffs are looking like. These are the series I pretty much want. Portland, Denver, Dallas versus LAC is going to be fun to watch. I wanted an LA versus Golden State play-in. I wanted Atlanta versus New York just because that's two teams that people didn't expect to do as well as they did. And then I wanted Milwaukee versus Miami just to see if Milwaukee has overcome their demons. If Milwaukee could lose in the first round, and that would make for an interesting offseason. I know Giannis resigned, but there's going to be question marks if Milwaukee loses in the first round. So anyway, that's what things are looking like. That is what the bracket is. Which series other than the Blazers series are you guys looking most forward to? Let me know in chat. Which series other than the Blazers series are you looking forward to? Let's say the Lakers play the Suns, the Warriors play the Jazz, the Celtics play the Nets, and the Wizards play the 76ers. Okay, let's say it shakes out according to seeding. And that is what the first round matchups are. It's hard to pick. There's so many good series. There's a lot of years where it's like, oh, that series, yawn. Oh, the Magic are the 7th seed, and they're playing the Toronto Raptors with Kawhi Leonard. I think that's what the series was. That series is a yawn. I mean, other than Philadelphia and the Philadelphia and Brooklyn series, I think every series could go 7. Lakers Suns would be the one you guys are watching? Yeah, if the Lakers play the Suns, that's the one I'm watching. We might have to, on Blazers Uprise Live, our second channel, links in the top of the description below. We stream Mondays and Thursdays. We might have to do a stream after the play-in games are done where me and Eric rank the series in terms of excitability. That would be fun. Shout out RIP Blazers for a $2 dono. Says, Bucks lose, they trade us Middleton. That's the thing to watch out if you're a Blazers fan, man. If the Bucks lose, are they going to really shake things up? It could be a situation where they want a go-to perimeter scorer because Giannis isn't a guy that can really take over games for as great as he is. And I think he gets a little bit too much hate. If they want to go to perimeter scorer, they got a bunch of good defensive personnel. They might be willing to look at a Middleton for CJ and maybe a pick swap. Not a pick swap, like a swap of Middleton for CJ and a future first. That'd be interesting. Shout out Jakob I always butcher your last name, man. But shout out Jakob, Ol Jakob, 20 Norwegian dollar donation, says, thanks for missing those free throws, Rocco. Here's the thing, if Rocco made those free throws, we'd be playing the Clippers right now. So everybody that was hating on Rocco for missing those 2 free throws against the Phoenix Suns, I want you to go and thank him and apologize to him right now, because Rocco was big. We got some big brains here in the Blazers organization. Olshe's big brain because he let Moses Brown go to the Thunder, and he was the main reason they beat the Clippers today. Without Moses Brown doing what he did today, we'd be playing the Clippers in the first round. Rocco is big brain for missing those 2 free throws. If he made those 2 free throws, we'd probably be playing the Clippers in the first round. So we got some big brains here. We got some big brains. Rocco was playing chess. Yes, he was, Khalid. That's why I said probably win Thor. I knew somebody was going to be like, we would have only been up 3. It's not a guaranteed win. That's why I said probably. But yeah, I'll take your questions on the series. What do you like? What area of the series do you want me to focus on? We will obviously break down this series in depth. I'm just curious what you guys are looking for right now. Do you guys want me to do you guys want me to kind of give a recap of the season? Without Eric, I'm going to do this as a democracy. and let chat have a say. Matchups. Could also look over the season at some point. We could do that later, though, if you guys want. I don't know what yes means, because there's like multiple things being tossed out right now. Also, please don't spam. Yamcha, please don't spam. Belgium says, Tori, how well do you think the Nuggets are equipped to trap Dame? So one of the biggest Achilles heels for the Portland Trail Blazers in the playoffs has been teams that trap Dame. The Nuggets are not equipped to trap Dame. Nikola Jokic is not the quickest big. They will definitely do it, but if you go up against the Clippers, who have like Kawhi and Paul George and Ibaka and Marcus Morris, they have a lot of size, and that size is mobile. So they're able to play the passing lanes a little bit better behind the trap, and they're able to trap better. Now, Aaron Gordon can trap. Other than that, Paul Millsap is getting up there in age. Jokic isn't the fleetest of foot. I don't think this is a series where the Blazers are going to be tested in terms of figuring out the trap. We've seen it in the past against the Nuggets where they didn't really trap Dame. And when they tried, it wasn't as effective as the Warriors have been in the playoffs against us, as the Pelicans were when they had AD. So that's the thing. It's not going to be a true test on that. So I don't know if they trap. I assume they try to at times, but I don't think they'll do it all the time. And if they do, I think it'll be easier to figure out. But here's the thing. It's like we should be able to exploit that then. We should be able to exploit that. So yeah, it kind of depends on who they're starting to. They could start Michael Porter Jr. at the 2. If I were them, I would consider that. Aaron Gordon at the 3, Paul Millsap at the 4. You got enough shooting out there. Definitive One says, I heard your reply, bro, and I feel it, but I don't want Jody Allen having any reason to reconsider and bring Stotts back unless we win it all, which I really can't see happening. I hate this feeling. Definitive One, you need to calm down, because part of me was like that too. If you're new to this, I don't think the Blazers are the best coach team, but the Nuggets aren't really a team that can exploit that like the Clippers would. Obviously, the Clippers are much better than the Nuggets at this point, but they also have the personnel to really give us matchup problems. So what Jason Quick said, and Eric brought this up on our stream last night. According to Jason Quick, the Blazers aren't going to bring Stotts back just because the Blazers beat the Nuggets in the series. And Stotts isn't necessarily coming back just because we even beat the Suns or maybe the Jazz. Because reading between the lines, Olshey doesn't think those teams are really that much more talented than us at all. And this is just according to Jason Quick, and Eric was paraphrasing Jason Quick, and now I'm paraphrasing Eric, so maybe a little bit gets lost in translation. But the gist of the message is the Blazers want to see Stotts give the Blazers a chance against a more talented team. They want him to come up with a good game plan in a series against a more talented team that gives the Blazers a chance to win. Therefore, if they beat the Nuggets, they don't think the Nuggets is a more talented team. If they beat the Suns, I don't think it applies to the Suns. I think it's essentially Stotts has to coach a good playoff series against the Lakers or the Clippers to save his job. No matter when that is. So, if the Lakers are the 8th seed because they lose the first playing game, win the second one, and then we beat the Nuggets, then the Suns, I don't think Stotts' job is saved, according to what Jason Quick said. So after hearing that, it was like, okay, let's go on a run. If it comes down to it and we play the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals and we get swept because we're just running Dame into traps the whole game and we're isolating Dame and CJ against Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and then we're running drop scheme on them and they're killing us like they have earlier this season in the regular season, then I still think he's gone. So that's why I wanted the Nuggets today. Because part of me was like, let's just take on the Clippers because either we'll rise to the occasion and finally beat a team that exploits all our weaknesses in the playoffs, and we'll overcome those weaknesses and fix them. And at that point, I think maybe we can contend if we do that. Either we'll do that and beat the Clippers, or we'll lose and automatically get a fresh voice as the head coach who could maybe help us do that. But it sounds like basically they're not going to read too much into the Nuggets or the Suns or the Jazz. It's like a healthy Lakers team or a healthy Clippers team we have to be competitive against. Not necessarily win. If we lose in 6 in the Western Conference Finals to the Clippers, Stotts might be back. The thing is, I think Stotts has to improve a lot for us to lose by 6. You know what I mean? I feel like if we play like how we've played in the playoffs the past few years, even in 2019 when we beat the Thunder and beat the Nuggets, if we play that style of basketball against the Clippers, we're still getting swept or losing in 5. Against the Lakers, we're still getting swept or losing in 5. Because the style of basketball we play isn't conducive to being competitive against those types of teams. You can't just run pick and roll in isolation all game and run drop scheme 90% of the time against those teams. Not at all. Toasty says, when are they going to choose the season awards? I'm not sure. But we plan on doing a Blazers Uprise live stream segment where me, Eric, and our mods pick that. So once again, if you want to subscribe to our second channel, Blazers Uprise Live, streaming twice a week, link top of the description below. Is Eric's last name Sean? Nope, Eric's last name is actually on the screen. It's Brant. California Russian says, 4-0 Nuggets. I highly doubt that. I think this series with the Blazers is going... It's going far. It's going far. Man, I gotta save my voice. I'm trying to hydrate. Shout Taylor Packer says, I missed today's game, but what do you think are the most important things we need to look for in this Denver series? Will we win if we ... Will we lose if we ... I think it's going to come down to simply making shots, because I don't think this is a team that's equipped to trap us. At the guards, I got Austin Rivers and Campazzo. I mean, I don't think either of those guys are really standouts defensively. Jokic is the most mobile big. If we can make shots, attack the rim, slow down Jokic a little bit, slow down Porter Jr. a little bit, I think we definitely win this series. Like, if we can get high-quality shots and slow down Jokic and Porter Jr. a little bit, I think we win this series. I think that's probably the simplest you can make it. Because who else is going to step up if we slow down Jokic and Porter Jr. a little bit? Paul Millsap? Aaron Gordon? Vlatko Kankar? I mean, I'm struggling to even... Campazzo? Austin Rivers? I mean, they don't have guys that are really going to step up, I don't think, if Jokic and Porter Jr. have an off game. They need those two guys to be on it 100% of the time. And Jokic, I expect him to be on it pretty consistently, but Nurkic knows his game, and Nurkic is going to be up for that series, and Nurkic is a good defender. So if Nurkic can do a good job on Jokic, and we can, coax Michael Porter Jr. into having an off-shooting night, I think we're in pretty good luck. Because offensively, I think we'll be able to do what we want. They don't have a single perimeter defender that I think is a good isolation defender. Chat, who is the Denver Nuggets' best defender to put up against CJ McCollum in a 1v1 situation? Think about this. Who is their best defender to put up against CJ McCollum? Aaron Gordon? I think Aaron Gordon's a little overrated defensively, but probably, yeah, Aaron Gordon. But he's a 4. I think CJ can still get the shots he likes against an Aaron Gordon. I still think Dame can get the shots he likes against an Aaron Gordon. Other than Aaron Gordon, what? Michael Porter Jr.? Terrible defender. Jokic? No way. Campazzo? 5'10"? Is that... What's his listed height? I don't know that off the top of my head. Let me look that up. Campazzo's listed height is, 5'10". Campazzo? No way. CJ has 6 inches on Campazzo. 5 inches. Dame has 4 inches on Campazzo. No chance. Austin Rivers? Always thought he was overrated on D. So, like, I'm not saying Campazzo's a bad defender, but this is Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. You're not going to slow these guys down unless they're just shooting poorly on shots they like, or if you have some... If you're giving up 4 inches to Damian Lillard, he's going to get whatever shot he wants against you. So that's the thing. It's if we're forced to play into isolation, which against the Clippers, against the Lakers, I don't think we can have a chance of winning a series if we do that. But against the Nuggets, we definitely, we could play isolation basketball and win the series. We could play with a bad style of play and still comfortably win this series. The thing is like, the two biggest issues for us in the playoffs, time and time again, is just not knowing how to deal with the trap and running drop scheme way too much. They don't have the personnel to exploit either of those things. That's why Blazer fans wanted this as a matchup. They don't got the personnel to trap. The third biggest issue is we play too much isolation, and part of that is due to us not knowing how to deal with the trap. They don't have good isolation defenders to put up against Dame and CJ. They don't really have the personnel to trap well. And then they don't have the guards on the offensive end to really exploit us running drop scheme. So, like, our three biggest Achilles heels, I think, aren't a huge issue against the Nuggets. All three of those things against the Los Angeles Clippers, we're getting swept and losing every game by 20. Against the Nuggets, I'm not saying they're that much worse than the Clippers. It's just a different personnel. It's a different matchup, and they don't have the personnel to really exploit that. The way the Nuggets can win the series is Jokic just playing insane. That's like, they need Jokic to play insane. But here's the thing, Jokic can play insane. Dame's been playing great too. Dame could match what Jokic does easily. If he does that, I don't know. I don't see how the Nuggets are going to be able to win the series. I think the Blazers should be favored in this one. It's going to be interesting to see what is being predicted. But this is just a bad matchup for the Nuggets. And a really good matchup for the Portland Trail Blazers. Who could beat Denver in the first round? See, if this was like Denver... I mean, against Luka, they don't really have anybody to throw up against him either. You know what I mean? I don't know. Their team's built weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm selling them short. They have played well since Jamal Murray and Will Barton went down. I just don't think this matchup is good for them. So for everybody that says, Tori, you're always so negative, you don't like the coach, yada yada. Well, I'm being positive as hell right now. I'm so, like, I think the Blazers should be favored to win this series. Maybe it sounds weird to y'all. I don't know. But I think I call it pretty realistic, and I think the Blazers have a legitimate chance. Sports Bro Brandon says, Michael Porter Jr. about to go off in the series. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. That's the other issue, is you're going to be guarding him with, Here's the thing, matchup-wise. If I'm the Blazers, and the Nuggets do indeed start Campazzo, Austin Rivers, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and Yusuf Nurkic, I am putting Dame and CJ on Campazzo and Rivers. See, that's the other thing is, Dame and CJ, such a poor defensive backcourt. You get to toss those guys up against Campazzo and Austin Rivers. That's ideal. That is so ideal. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon, I'd probably rather put Norman Powell on Aaron Gordon and Rocco on Michael Porter Jr. Because Aaron Gordon is smaller than Michael Porter Jr. And Rocco, I think, is the better defensive player to put on Michael Porter Jr. So that's what I'd do. I'd put Rocco on MPJ. I'd put Norman Powell on Aaron Gordon. I think Norman Powell is strong enough. He has an 8'7" 7 foot standing reach. I think Aaron Gordon's like 8'8". Let me Google that. I'm curious. You guys get to hear my keyboard today since Eric isn't here. Let's see here. Aaron Gordon's standing reach is 8'9". Norman Powell's is 8'7". He's only given up 2 inches in terms of standing reach. I know Aaron Gordon is 6'8", and Norman Powell is 6'3". But Norman Powell's wingspan is pretty big. Makes up for it. So, like, Norman Powell isn't really that undersized to throw up against Aaron Gordon. And then you put Rocco on Michael Porter Jr. and hope Rocco can slow him down. That is the best thing to do if you're the Blazers. That's what I would do, 100%. And then here's the thing. If they run pick and roll with Aaron Gordon as the screener, with one of their guards and Aaron Gordon on the screener, you just probably switch. Because Aaron Gordon isn't really the type to punish guards. He settles for a lot of jumpers. He's not that great of a rebounder. So you could get away with switching. Potentially. If you're running like a Campazzo and Austin Rivers pick and roll with Aaron Gordon. Campazzo or Austin Rivers pick and roll with Aaron Gordon. What do you guys think of that game plan? Do you guys disagree? People are saying Derrick Jones Jr. You might have to throw Derrick Jones Jr. against Michael Porter Jr. Because here's what I expect. I expect them, and they've probably already been doing this. I don't know. I haven't really been watching Nuggets games like that. I expect them to stagger Michael Porter Jr. and Nikola Jokic. And then when Nikola Jokic is off the floor, because you got to rest Nikola Jokic a little bit, for the 8 minutes or whatever that Jokic is off the floor, I expect them to have Michael Porter Jr. on the floor and him to just try and take over the offense. Now, the Blazers only play 8, so they usually have 2 starters in with their bench lineup. One of those is usually CJ McCollum, and then the other, I think, for the most part, has been Rocco. They've been playing Rocco with the 3, Melo with the 4, and Kanter at the 5. So if you have Michael Porter Jr. in with the bench and Rocco in with the bench, you can keep Rocco on Michael Porter Jr. I think you can match Rocco's minutes to Michael Porter Jr. and just have Rocco guard Michael Porter Jr. And then you got Melo on JaMychal Green or Paul Millsap. Or no, they play JaMychal Green and Paul Millsap at the 4 and 5. So Kanter against Millsap and Melo against JaMychal Green. Kanter against Millsap might give him some problems. Might give us some problems. Because Millsap can still shoot. Millsap on the season shot... Let me see what he shot on the season. Millsap on the season shot 33.6% from 3. So actually not that good. The season before he shot 43.5%. So maybe Kanter on Millsap, you'll be able to get away with that if Millsap isn't hitting the 3. But he's shown that he's capable of knocking down the 3. So you don't want to let him get off the bench because then that'll be like that third guard, the third guy that they need. Most nights I think they'll need a third guy to step up beyond Jokic and Michael Porter Jr. And I think the favorite to do that would be Paul Millsap. Gabe, of course not. Of course not, man. I had to take care of business. Yeah, so I don't expect Derrick Jones Jr. to play. And honestly, that's... I don't know. I think that this team... You're able to play Rocco with the backup 3, so if they stagger Michael Porter Jr. with Jokic, that's fine. You just match Rocco's minutes to Michael Porter Jr.'s. Anthony off the bench. Anthony's been playing well. He's struggled recently, but he had that hot shooting stretch. He could be an X factor off the bench. The Nuggets wish they had Anthony Simons off the bench right now. That's what's crazy about it. They wish they had an Anthony Simons off the bench right now. Blazer fans have kind of had a love-hate relationship with Anthony Simons, a back-and-forth relationship with him. But they don't have a guard capable of scoring like that. I know Anthony Simons is mostly a three-point shooter, but who the Nuggets have off the bench at guard? Let me go back to their box score because I'm blanking. They got Monte Morris, who could be a starter. Is he starting normally? Either way, he's still not notable enough. You know, the Blazers, like, no matter who Denver starts out of, Campazzo, Rivers, and Monte Morris, I expect them to start 2 of the 3. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Because Monte Morris is a 6'1" point guard. He's not a guy that's going to hang 30 on you. He's not like an elite defender. So that's a guy I've been forgetting about, Monte Morris. He's a little underrated. Like, I'm not trying to hit on him. He's had a solid season. Shooting 38% from 3, 48% from the field, averaging 10 points per game, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. So maybe that's a guy you can't really run drop scheme on. But yeah, that's kind of their 3-guard rotation. Does Rondae Hollis-Jefferson play? No. Guys, it's the playoffs. The rotation, if anything, is going to tighten. The rotation, if anything, is going to tighten. He wasn't playing before. It's already an 8-man rotation. It's going to be Dame, CJ, Norm, Rocco, Nurk, Anthony, Melo, Canner. That's going to be the 8. That's what's been the 8. Now, maybe you throw in a different guy here depending on situational things. If somebody picks up foul trouble, maybe. But, like, I don't think Stotts is going to go in planning on playing any of those guys. Any of those other guys. Is Will Barton not playing? He's been hurt for a while. I don't know his status. He might come back in the middle of the series, but here's the thing. There's like 5 days off between now and the first day of the playoffs for us. So there's still a lot of time. Maybe he's close enough that he'll be ready to go. I don't know. If Will Barton is healthy, that changes the equation because that's a guy you got to guard. They need Will Barton off their bench. And Will Barton might start. Will Barton changes things for that team. And as we get closer, we will continue to preview this series. If he ends up healthy, then obviously we will kind of talk about how we can match up with him and what we can do to slow him down. Because he changes the equation. He's kind of that perimeter scorer/facilitator that they need. And the thing is, he can play some point. Because you got Jokic next to him. You got Aaron Gordon next to him. They could go, if they were healthy, honestly, well, without Jamal Murray, but if they had Will Barton, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go Barton, MPJ, Aaron Gordon, Paul Millsap, and Nikola Jokic. And just throw out a ton of size against the Blazers. They could throw out some weird looks out there. That's what having a Nikola Jokic can do for you. Should we start Derrick Jones Jr.? No. No. We match up just fine. Like, Norm on Aaron Gordon is completely fine in my book. Completely fine. Rocco on Michael Porter Jr., Jokic, and Nurkic on Jokic. And then Dame and CJ on Campazzo, Rivers, Morris. Maybe if they start Barton at the 2, maybe Barton. That's completely fine as well. Alfred Gamers says, Blazers suck on defense. Learn grammar. How many fans in Denver versus Portland? I don't know what that question means, Benjamin. Shout Chris Stevens, $5 dono. Says, fun stat, Nurkic's 3 today means he finishes the season with a better 3-point percentage than Dame. That's the thing. If Nurkic can hit some threes, man, he's not shooting a lot of them. But if he can take Jokic out of the paint, that's just... I'll be down with that. Nurkic on the season shot 12 for 30 on threes, which is good for... Quick math. Let me pull up a calculator here. What was his 3-point percentage at the end of the season? 12 for 30. He looks comfortable shooting them. That's the thing. He looks confident. He looks comfortable. I want him shooting a couple a game next year at this point. On the season, he shoots 40% from 3. So shout out Nurkic, man. He learned how to shoot threes and forgot how to shoot free throws. Because on the season, his free throw percentage is around 60%. Nurkic today from the line shot 3 for 6, 50%. He's gonna be able to need. He's gonna need to knock down free throws for us. Shout out to Henry Hall, $5 dono. Said, Dame kept his word. That dude still has a house. And yes, I appreciate the irony of paying for that comment. Henry, man, you should have paid a house for that comment. I'll take a house, too. Yeah, I don't think that dude was serious. But I saw Dame tweet him after the game. That's funny. But yeah, the Blazers end up winning right on the dot. 42 games. Sorry, I'm like all over the place with my tabs and whatnot. Sorry for the dead air. How should we slow Jokic? If you can keep him on the perimeter and pressure him on the perimeter and then not let him like get his shoulder past you, I feel like that's the best way to guard him. Like, he can distribute from there, but I feel like you can't just let him sit out there because he did shoot a really good percentage from 3. He's improved his 3-point shooting. You can't just let him shoot. He shot 39% from 3 this year. So you got to go out there and guard him, pressure him a little bit, make it a little harder for him to pass. You can't just, get close enough to contest his 3-point shot, but then let him just kind of facilitate from there, hold the ball over his head, and make choices. So you got to pressure that. Other than that, I mean, you could double him in the low post because they'll definitely try and post him up. Now you want to be careful who you're helping off of, but here's the thing: Aaron Gordon in Denver. Let me find this. Aaron Gordon in Denver has only shot 27% from 3. He's really been struggling to shoot the 3. So you can double off him. Now, here's the problem. If you double off an Aaron Gordon, then if he's smart, he cuts. So you have to be cognizant of cutters if you're going to send a double on Jokic because Jokic will find them. Gordon is athletic. He can finish around the rim. So you can't double off Gordon and then just have him cut to open space and just have Jokic feed it to him and then he has a dunk, right? So your positioning behind a low post double has to be correct. A guy has to be able to help over on that. If you double from an Aaron Gordon, you have to try and pay enough attention to Aaron Gordon that you're kind of staying in between him and Jokic when you go to double Jokic. Other than Aaron Gordon, let me look up Austin Rivers has shot 37% on the season. So he's a capable 3-point shooter. Campazzo shot 35%. So he's a capable 3-point shooter. Michael Porter Jr. obviously is a really good 3-point shooter. So maybe you're doubling off of Aaron Gordon when Jokic has the ball in the low post. But the thing is, they can make you pay for that. And Millsap is in. I don't know. Millsap or Gordon, they're kind of mediocre 3-point shooters, but both are good enough to have a chance of getting it going if you leave them open. But in the low post, I don't know if you want to double Jokic. Nurkic is a good low post defender. I think you just give Nurkic a chance to slow him down there. Honestly, I think it's as simple as you just play him straight up with Nurkic and then try and play good defense around that. Game 1, that's kind of what I expect. I expect them throwing Nurkic at Jokic and giving him that one-on-one matchup and then playing solid defense around that, obviously helping when needed and whatnot. Now, at halftime, if Jokic has 20 and 10 and 5, then you got to adjust. And that's the thing. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that they'll come out and then they won't adjust. But going into the game, I just see what Nurkic looks like on him straight up, because then if he does well against Nurkic, you can look for the areas where he's having success and then try and adjust to take those areas away. That's what good coaches do. So in game 1, I'm not going to be mad if we come out like that, but if Jokic is succeeding and then we fail to adjust to that, then I will be mad at the lack of adjustments, not necessarily the plan to just play Jokic straight up with Nurkic. Does that make sense? Now, if you have to put Kanter on Jokic, then you got to probably send more help. Then it becomes a different coverage. But Kanter guarded Jokic 2 years ago and did okay. Now Jokic is a lot better now than he was 2 years ago, even though he was really good 2 years ago. So maybe you don't have similar success. Yeah, I don't know. Looking for Jokic's playoff stats. I want to see what he averaged in that series against us. In the series against us, when he was going up against Enes Kanter mostly, Jokic averaged 27 points per game, 14 rebounds, and 7.7 assists per game, shooting 52% from the field and 46% from three. They also had Jamal Murray. We also won that series and didn't have Yusuf Nurkic. And our personnel was noticeably better, I think, this year than it was in that playoff series where we let Jokic just go off 27, 14, and 8, basically, on insane efficiency, and we still won. So, it's doable. The Nuggets had a lot better lineup then than I think they do now. They've kind of replaced Murray with Michael Porter Jr., but outside of that, they were deeper. They had a defender and a Gary Harris to throw up against Dame and CJ, and it didn't matter. CJ still ate. Dame kind of struggled, but I don't expect that. This is round 1, not round 2. That's the thing. Dame did not play well in that series too, and we still won. Jokic played insane. We didn't have Nurkic. We were guarding Jokic with Kanter. Dame struggled. We still won that series. They had Jamal Murray. Millsap was 2 years younger. Do not spam chat. Thank you. Oh, Eric. Oh, no, that was Trevin. I thought it said Eric timed him out. All right, Eric says he can come on now. So let's get Eric on here. It's about time we get Eric on here. Problem is I gotta readjust my camera. Alright. I gotta set up the screen, Eric. But I'll put the audio on. What's up, Eric? How you doing, man?
Hey, everyone. Hey, Tori. How you doing, man?
Excited that we got the Denver Nuggets. Excited that we got the Denver Nuggets. Been previewing this series. Doing my best. What do you think of the... I mean, do you want to just hop into the preview while I set up this camera screen? I gotta readjust my camera here. The stream's been popping. But I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on this and just kind of today's action. I have no idea where you want to start, but feel free to just kind of jump in wherever, man. Chat's excited to see you.
I'm excited to be here. I'm stoked that we're playing the Nuggets. That's first of all, thank goodness. We won. We didn't, be little pansies and lose on purpose to try and get a matchup, and several other teams look like they did. So I'm glad we did that, and it worked out for us doing it that way, not worrying about the matchups, just winning the game. Funny that the losing to Phoenix might have helped us get Denver, because we might not have been when it was looking like the Clippers. There was no way they would have lost both of those games, right? So it was looking like the Clippers were the obvious matchup for us, and they just completely out-tanked the two teams they played and ended up avoiding the Lakers, which I don't agree with doing if I'm in the Clippers situation, but again, I'm glad they did it.
Yeah.
It worked out for us. I'm a little less mad now about losing to the Suns. And our second round is probably going to be really tough if we can get by Denver. But I actually really like our chances against Denver. And I know they weren't really trying tonight, but the first quarter of this game gave me extreme hope for when this team is playing well, moving the ball, and playing defense. That I mean, I don't want to say it'll be easy, but if we play like we did in the first quarter of this game, I don't think Denver can even win a game against us. Maybe one. And we probably won't play that way, so that's probably not going to play out that way. We'll have games where we go back to ISO and take a bunch of bad shots and stuff. So this will definitely be a dogfight of a series. But there are not many teams that can stop our offense when we move around that much, when we pass that much, when everyone gets involved, everyone takes good shots, no one's forcing contested jumpers. And it was just beautiful basketball to watch in that first quarter, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling better going into this series than I felt about any series maybe ever in, like, my lifetime. You know, because obviously I wasn't around, like, for, you know, in the 90s. Yeah. My first playoff series I saw was the Brandon Roy days, and obviously we didn't win any of those series. And then, I mean, we were going in against the Clippers and won that series when when Chris Paul and Blake Griffin got hurt, but I wasn't feeling like super confident going into that series. Going up against the Thunder, I don't know why everybody was scared of the Thunder, but I was like, this is going to be a pretty 50-50 series. I've never really gone into a series as a Blazer fan and thought we were the favorite, at least like felt like we were the favorite. And, you know, going up against the Rockets, first year Dame was in the playoffs, didn't feel like that. Felt like pretty 50-50. Memphis the next year, Aflalo got hurt and the team wasn't really clicking. I thought Memphis should be favored in that series, and then they end up winning. This is the first series where I feel like we should be favored. I can't think of another series.
I mean, the Pelicans, you could argue that we're the third seed and should have probably at least not got swept. It should have been a good series.
Yeah, you're right. I felt that. I felt like this too, but also I was more naive back then, because now it's like, that's the thing. They had the pieces to really give us fits. Like, they were a really bad matchup for us. You can't say that about the Nuggets. You know what I mean? So now it's like I'm smarter, because like back then I was saying, oh, you know, we're a more talented team, and I wasn't thinking, oh, they're just going to trap Dame with Drew Holiday and Anthony Davis and Rajon Rondo, and we're not going to have an answer. Well, who's going to be Anthony Davis trapping Dame? Nikola Jokic? Aaron Gordon? No. Who's Drew Holiday on their team? Facundo Campazzo? No.
What did you just say?
Facundo? How do you say it?
I don't say it. That's
for probably good reason.
Yeah. We have this guy who thinks he's hilarious in chat, Jokic MVP. Or Jokic MVP, says, you're delusional if you think the Blazers are beating us with lame Dalla as your best player. Curry and Drew own that clown. He's a bum. Nuggets in 4.
They didn't learn from 2 years ago, Eric.
Wait. Hey, I have a statement for you, man. I got news for you. You don't have Steph Curry. You do not have Drew Holiday on the Nuggets. So shut up, man. You don't even have those guys. So who cares if they own Dave? We get to play your sorry-ass team that doesn't have Jamal Murray, and we're going to beat you guys. Mm-hmm. So take that.
I mean, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go for this series, man.
Here's the other
thing.
For the trash talk. He said all they have to do to win this series is double-team CJ because Dame is ass in the playoffs. I dare Denver to not pay attention to Dame and just let him be open because he sucks in the playoffs. And if you think that's why he sucks in the playoffs, because he just doesn't perform in the playoffs, you are a delusional fan who doesn't know what you're talking about, because Dame has seen more attention in the playoffs than any player I've ever seen in my lifetime, in terms of game plans and taking a single person out of games. And yes, he could shoot better. He could still play better than he has in the past. But teams absolutely sell out, double, triple team him in the playoffs, and there is not much schematically that his coach does to help him in those situations. So, yeah, if you don't want to pay any attention to him because you think he sucks in the playoffs, we will wipe the floor with Denver in this series.
Yeah, please don't pay just, I mean, if that's how Denver fans think, they're in for a rude awakening. Their smart fans, I think, realize how good Dame is, their dumb fans just remember that series from 2019 and think CJ is better than Dame. You know what I mean? The reason CJ was able to have success is because they were giving Dame a lot of attention, and CJ had it cooking. That's the thing. Dame's not Westbrook. He let CJ cook in that series. But the thing is, he wasn't even that bad against Denver. He averaged 25 points and 6 assists per game. He just struggled hitting his three-point shot. Well, bad news for the Nuggets. Dame is looking as rested as I've seen him at the end of a regular season. He was struggling, he was banged up, but he's been able to get a lot of rest the past 10 games or so. A lot of games where he's only playing 30 minutes or so. And now he has 6 days off. A rested Dame, you guys do not want to see a rested Dame. Okay? The thing is, when we played Denver in the playoffs, for any Nuggets fans watching, when we played you guys in the playoffs, think off the top of off the top of your head who our starting forwards were. I'll give you a second. Can you remember? Did you pay enough attention to that series? If you did, you would remember that our starting forwards were Al-Farouq Aminu and Maurice Harkless. Now our starting forwards are Norman Powell and Robert Covington. Our starting center that series was Enes Kanter. Now our starting center is Yusuf Nurkic. Okay?
And we still have Kanter off the bench.
Dame played bad that series when our starting small forward, power forward, and center was Harkless, Aminu, and Kanter. Jokic played great that series, and we still beat y'all. So how in the world do you think that now you don't have Jamal Murray, now you don't have a good defensive player like a Gary Harris to throw up against Dame or CJ, now you don't even have a bench, and you think that it's going to go from us beating you in those circumstances to us adding Rocco, Norman Powell, Yusuf Nurkic, you losing Jamal Murray, and somehow you're going to go from losing in 7 to winning in 4? Yeah, no way. No shot. No, as Kyle would say, Kyle will appreciate this if he's in here. No shot at all.
Yep. And for the record, I'm not like 100% saying the Blazers will win or dominate, but you know, we gotta talk crap to these people talking crap to us. So.
The thing is, we can back it up with legitimate facts.
Kyle is in here.
What's up, woke, Mr. Woke? Because we got multiple Kyles in here, so Mr. Woke Kyle is who I'm referencing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm super excited, man. I'm super excited. I'm gonna enjoy having 5 days off before this because it's gonna be another level. I'm gonna try and come up with a different graphics package for the playoffs. But go ahead.
I was gonna say, honestly, I mean, we are in the same bracket with the Suns and Lakers potentially, but there is a chance the Lakers lose. What would that end up being? Wednesday, I think is their game.
Well, LeBron turned his ankle today, Eric. Did you see that?
Oh, did he? No, I did not.
He turned his ankle. He might not play.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You know, he's probably saying he's going to play, yada, yada, but he turned his ankle again today.
Yeah, so there is a chance that they lose to the Warriors in a one-game scenario, and they're on the opposite side of the bracket, and we have both LA teams on the other side. People are saying LeBron's going to play, but so
he's
yeah,
probably
one of the
not
things
going to be 100%.
If we get by Denver, you know, that's a tough Suns team that we haven't played well against this year, and then the Lakers obviously are, if they're healthy, are good.
Here's the thing, Eric. The Suns this year remind me of the Nuggets from 2019.
That's true.
Similar situation.
I will say that Paul is a little more savvy probably than anyone on that team. For sure.
But like the rest of their team doesn't have playoff experience. Like that's a series we would have an outside shot in. Now that would be one of those series where it's like if Stotts coaches a good series, I think we have a near 50-50 chance in that series. If it's a poorly coached series, I think the Suns will likely win. So that'll be kind of the litmus test. I think Stotts could just not coach the series and we would have a solid chance of winning. You know what I mean? Because they don't have. This is what I've been talking about. The Nuggets don't have the personnel to really exploit our weaknesses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have. The only thing I'd be really worried about is if they did decide to actually, try something for Aaron Gordon, maybe, having him cut to the basket a lot, or maybe getting out in transition or something. We don't really have a player that matches up well with him. And then we also have the situation with Michael Porter Jr., if we have one of our three guards on him, that's a tough matchup for any of them if they exploit that. But we saw not this game, but the last game we played them, he went off for a while and then they didn't give him the ball much of the rest of the game. So it's a situation where I'm really excited. There's with that big of a gap between games, there is no excuse not to come out with some good game plans and have your team prepared and ready to go in this series. And you should have multiple game plans built in to be able to switch to different styles or different options of defense and things like that you're implementing these days off, so that if you do get in a situation where a Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon or someone is abusing you because you're focused on Jokic or whatever you're doing, that you have a different option to go to and you're locked in, ready to go before the series even starts. And that's one thing I've been looking at Stotts to be able to do. We talked about this. I heard an interview with Jason Quick saying that that's something that ownership and front office is looking from Stotts, is to actually come up with some game plans to put his team in the best position to win and not just sit here at the end of the series being like, well, they took Dame out. What are we supposed to do? So so hopefully with this time off, this is the best thing that could happen to this team in getting prepared. And then on top of that, they don't have Jamal Murray, so they don't really have anyone that can exploit us in the pick and roll. Now, they can still do it using Jokic as a screener and popping out, so we do have to find a way to defend that. But the dynamic of the Murray-Jokic pick and roll would be something I'd be extremely worried about right now going into the series. And good thing for us, we don't have to worry about this year, and I don't think there's anyone on the Nuggets roster that scares me into believing that we can't win this series because we can't stop this certain action that they have, which there's a lot of other teams that I feel that way. It's going to be really hard if we don't, or if we drop the big on Chris Paul against the Suns, like I don't think like we could win a series 7 games doing that. So, but with the Nuggets, I feel like we do have a chance, even if we don't have the most creative schemes. But I'm really hoping that these days off, either Stotts has a game plan that gets us over the top and lets us win these games without even struggling, or it's completely obvious that he's outcoached in this series and he's gone. So probably a best of both worlds there.
Yep. So I got asked the question, how would we game plan against Jokic? And my answer was in game 1 to just throw Nurkic out there against him and just see what it looks like Nurkic guarding him straight up. Like, if Jokic has success, you'd be able to kind of identify where he's having success against Nurkic and then maybe adjust to take that away in terms of the team defense behind Nurkic. But I think Nurkic is good enough where you can give him the chance of going out there. If this was Canner, I'd say you gotta have some sort of scheme to double. The problem is, it's like if you double Jokic, he's such a good passer. Like, if they cut well, like he can pick that apart. So you're really playing with fire if you double him. And Nurkic is a good enough defender that, I kind of just want to throw him out against Jokic. You can't let him shoot threes. He's shooting better from 3 than he ever has. He shot 39% this year. So, Nurkic has to play him out on the perimeter and hopefully not get driven by, hopefully not get put in foul trouble. I feel like you throw him out there, single coverage, game 1, and see how it looks. Now, if they do that the entire game when Jokic is cooking the entire game, I'll be mad because I think, like, come halftime, if Jokic has 20 and 10 and 5, they should adjust. Do you agree with that? Is that kind of how you go about it?
Okay, so obviously we're not coaches, but if I was a coach, I'd probably agree with that and then adjust as we go. My problem with that is I don't have confidence in the coaching staff to make the necessary adjustments from there. So it'll be interesting to see how they play that, because under most circumstances, just throw it out like you did there tonight and just have like a similar game plan, at least initially, and then adjust accordingly as you go. But this coaching staff has proven that they're not the best at adjusting on the fly like that. So I'd be a little scared to have that game plan if that's what our coaches decide to do. And the only thing I'm worried about is like at the end of the game, we lost by 1 point to them. they had it was a lot of pick and roll with like Dozier and stuff like that. It doesn't really matter who the ball handler is in that situation. It matters how you defend it. So if Jokic is setting the screen and popping out to the 3-point line, and we're switching that, then he's got a small guy on there.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to switch. And if Nurk is like sagging too far in the paint, I feel like you're giving Jokic too much space. He can either hit that three, or he could play make out of that. And I don't think that's a good decision to drop the big. So I don't want to see Nurk dropping either. So the only real solution would be, and honestly, trapping might not be the best solution either, because you trap and Jokic is in a position where the guard can just turn around and like throw it back to him pretty easily, especially if he's got like a smaller guy guarding him from the backside. So that might not work either. So I want the guards to really work on these next few days, not switching, not getting like picked easily, trying to they should spend these 5 days working on just getting through picks as quickly as possible. And I think if our guards can somehow get through that pick without Nurk having to hedge or compensate for them being slow through there too much, and Nurk is able to immediately recover back to Jokic after just quickly slowing down the ball handler, I think we can get away with doing that for most of the series, just because most of their ball handlers don't have a way to exploit that too much.
Yep, I agree with that. So I'm looking at this Nuggets team, and I mean it's Jokic, and then it's of course Michael Porter Jr. How would you defend against Michael Porter Jr.? Like, who would you put up against him? What would be your plan for MPJ?
Well, since not a lot of other people scare me on their team, I'd probably just put Rocco on him. And that way he couldn't really post him up too much. And I just let the guards guard your position you're guarding. So, like, if Morris is the point guard, Dame guards Morris. If it's Campazzo, you have Dame guard Campazzo. If it's, I don't know, who would they be starting at shooting guard then? They've been starting some weird lineups with, sometimes Michael Porter Jr. is like the shooting guard, and sometimes he's the power forward. Or if Aaron Gordon's in, he does not scare me at all, so I'd probably put, like, Powell or someone like that on him. Their reach isn't more than, like, an inch or two different, so I don't really worry about Aaron Gordon going off too much as long as they're not getting out in transition or doing something to set back screens or cuts for him. So I'm not super worried about him either. So yeah, I would just let CJ match up with whoever the shooting guard is, and Norm guard Aaron Gordon, Rocco guard Porter Jr., and Dirk guard Jokic. I think that's how I'd play it.
Yeah, that's how I said I'd play it. And you put, so Powell on Gordon, there's a 2-inch difference between their standing reaches. So people think that'd be like a major size mismatch. It's really not. It's really not. And Powell's strong. Like, I think you're completely fine with that.
Yeah, and I mean, you could always just switch it there and put, like, Powell on Michael Porter Jr. if Gordon's posted up and killing us. But
yeah, I just think you want size and length on Michael Porter Jr. You don't want him to just be able to shoot over guys, and he's really good at shooting over guys, even guys close to him in height. So, Powell against Michael Porter Jr. is more of a size issue than Powell against Aaron Gordon.
Honestly, though, like, Porter's... The thing that makes Porter good, in my opinion, is he doesn't really seem to be bothered by, like, pressure too much. So, but it's not like he's, like, breaking people off the dribble and getting to the hoop and dunking on people, So, in my opinion, like, you just need someone who's going to stay in front of him and make him take contested shots. And he might make some. You just have to live with that. It's kind of like what we talked about with Anthony Davis. If Porter gets hot, it's a guy who can make shots no matter how you defend him. So, honestly, I might even put like someone like Melo on him, who's like kind of the same type of player,
Yeah.
Just someone who can trade buckets with him, or knows that he's just going to shoot every time he gets it. So all you have to do is move your feet and not get beat off the dribble. So yeah, knowing that we're not going to play like a Derrick Jones or a Nasir Little, probably I would probably even put like Melo on him if he's having trouble with or if he's going off with Rocco or whatever, and let Rocco play more off the ball. But I like our chances if they're having to rely on Aaron Gordon for a lot of the scoring load in this series.
Like the key to the series, I think, for Portland is literally just if you can slow down Jokic and Porter Jr. a little bit, I think you're in great shape. Because who else is going to step up? Paul Millsap is how old now? Like,
36, 37-ish, I think.
He's 36. He's 36. He shot 33% from threes, only averaging 9 a game. His minutes have gone down. Like, he's still capable of having moments, but, like, still, that's their third best player. Like, who else is going to step up? Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon has not played well for them. He's shooting 27% from 3 for them. You know, like, what's Aaron Gordon going to do? Like, I don't expect him to have multiple 25-point games this series. He might have a couple 20-point games, but still, it's like they don't have... Like, their third and fourth best players are Aaron Gordon and Paul Millsap. Our third and fourth best players are Norman Powell and Yusuf Nurkic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that's legitimate. That we have a far bigger advantage there. 5 on down, what do they have? Monte Morris,
JaMychal Green,
Campazzo, Rivers. I mean, I'll take Rocco, Carmelo, Cantor, and Simons on down. Well,
here's the thing: is in the series 2 years ago, Millsap kind of killed us at posting up our fours, right? Mm-hmm. Until we switched that up and started guarding him with some different players. But he's basically their backup 5 now, so it's not the best matchup for Cantor, but at the same time, like, Cantor can have a field day on the boards if he's guarding, if Millsap's guarding Cantor, mm-hmm. and Cantor might be able to even post him up a little bit and get his little shots up over him. So I think the things that hurt us with Millsap in the last time we played him won't necessarily be the same problems for us this series, because it's not like Millsap's going to like post up Cantor or Nurkic when he's in the game. And, so the only thing he could kill us at is if he gets hot from 3 on those pick and pops that we talked about with Jokic. But he's not as good a passer as Jokic, so you can kind of stay home on him, similar to what I was talking about with Nurkic staying home on Jokic. So I'm not as worried about any of those things that I was the last time we played him, and it's all because not having a dynamic player like Murray out of the pick and roll.
Yeah. So I like the way this is the best matchup for Portland. Very confident, very confident in this matchup. Mods, you're gonna have to ban some trolls this series. Just gonna warn you. It's gonna get feisty.
It's fine to come in here and talk crap. Just don't be like make it personal or be a jerk to anyone.
Yeah. Honestly, Eric, it might be time to add the 4th mod. What do you think?
Yep, I'm cool with that.
I already know who our 4th mod is going to be. I was going to wait till next season, but assuming the series is popping, you're going to have a lot of trolls. You're going to have a lot of people in here. Jackson is going to be our 4th mod. So I'm just announcing that right now. Shout out to Jackson. I'm making Jackson a mod.
All right.
There we go. Jackson is our 4th mod. So a little extra help for the 3 mods we already do have. Poor Org Jackson. Where can I'm looking for his account. There you are. Cool. Add moderator. Jackson's a moderator. So shout out Jackson. Jackson's a guy I know I can trust. Good dude. Yeah. Because we're going to need the help. Because you're already getting people in here just being ridiculous. Yep. I forgot to thank Gray Hughes. So sorry, Gray Hughes, if you're not watching this, if you tuned out. But he'd left a $10 dono. He says, boom, everyone, don't forget to support this channel. You watch it after every game, and they put a lot of time into the show, and you can tell ad revenue is terrible, so help them out. Appreciate it, Gray Hughes. Gray Hughes is, he knows how ad revenue is because he has his own YouTube channel. I think he has more subscribers than us. I don't really remember. Maybe a lot more. But shout out Greg Hughes, always very supportive. Shout out Brandon
Check out
G.
his channel too if you want.
Yeah. Check out Greg Hughes. Gotta repay the favor. I don't know what it is, so maybe we should. I don't know. I need to check it out. But yeah, I appreciate it, Gray. You're very supportive, and the support means a lot to us. Shout out Brandon G. $5 donor says the Blazers are the better team considering injuries. More importantly, our top talent is healthy, which matters more in the playoffs. And I am excited because nobody's going to be able to say that we don't have the talent to win this series. We have the more talented team right now. We have the health. What's funny is when we played them in 2019, they had the health and we didn't. It's the opposite now. We have the health and they don't. I would like to see what we look like against them when they're healthy, but they're not. So you take.
Hey man, we deserve
take advantage of it.
Series where, yeah,
you just take advantage of it if you're Portland.
Yeah. For the record, I think Gray Hughes has like true crime investigation type stuff.
Jackson made his first 5-minute ban, and guess who it is, Eric?
Is that Isaac?
It's Isaac.
Oh, nice.
He said, F you, Jackson. Good job, Jackson. Let's give a round of applause for Jackson. Continuing the tradition of banning Isaac. Oh, that's perfect. I love it. So yeah, I mean, this team is playing, like, this team is shooting well. This team is consistently shooting well. Now, obviously, it's a long layoff between now and the playoffs, but I'm confident. Just Norm finally looks pretty comfortable. Nurkic has had some good games. He looked great in the first half tonight. Obviously, this game wasn't really too, like, the Nuggets didn't play too hard, but Nurkic looked good. But, like, Dame and CJ have been shooting the lights out of the ball, and Dame's playing great. So, like, I could see this series just being a scenario where Dame and CJ just take over. Because they don't have the defenders. Like, they don't have Kawhi or PG. You know what I mean? That's why we didn't want to face the Clippers. They don't have Kawhi or PG. They have Campazzo and Monte Morris and Austin Rivers and... I don't know. Maybe they put Aaron Gordon on one of them, but I'm not scared of Aaron Gordon. You know what I mean? So, if they can continue to shoot like how they've shot, it's going to be real tough for Denver. Because, like, Jokic could play well, and Michael Porter Jr. could play well, but Dame and CJ could still outplay them if those guys are playing at their best. And beyond that, the Blazers have the advantage. So, yeah, man, I'm excited. It's just, last year was the first year we did the channel. The first season we did the channel. Of course, they had the season get canceled. Finally get to the playoffs, and it's the Los Angeles Lakers who are healthy, and they just easily dismantle us in 5. You know, I mean, we're going to that series like, yeah, let's see what we can do, but we're going to lose. Now it's a completely different vibe. So
we had fun after game 1.
Yeah, we had fun after game 1. But, like, this is a completely different vibe. This is the first time we've had hope for the play. Like, going into the playoffs, this is going to be the first playoffs in which we have good vibes going into it in the history of this channel. So it's uncharted territory.
Question for you from Jason Figueroa in chat. Why are y'all the 6th seed if you have the better talent and the Nuggets are the 3 seed with worse talent?
Do you realize that you guys lost Jamal Murray and Will Barton?
Yeah.
Do you guys know the injury situation? Wait. The Lakers are the 7th seed. Why are people saying that they're the team, if healthy, that they're going to win the championship? Wait, the Clippers are the 4th seed. Wait. Why do they even have the playoffs if all that matters is the seed you get going into them? Why aren't the Jazz playing the Philadelphia 76ers for the NBA Finals right now? Really, man? Come on now. That's all this needs to be said to that.
Yeah, so what I'll say to that is, for the record, Tori will 100% agree with this. Jokic is and should be the unanimous MVP this year.
Mm-hmm.
He was by far and away the best player this season. He carried that team. I can't say enough of how he's been good defensively this season. He's done everything for that team without a ton of help. You know, he had Murray missed a chunk games, or not Murray. Obviously Murray missed games, but Michael Porter Jr. missed a chunk of games. I think it was like 10 to 15 games in the middle of the season. There was they had a lot of injuries, like minor injuries throughout the year. But this guy absolutely carried them. He deserves to be MVP. He's a great player. The thing is, Portland, we know our team. We know what we struggle against. The Clippers would have been what we struggled with.
I would say we're losing in 5 if we were playing the Clippers right now.
Yeah. So it's just the fact that we are horrible against teams who have good wings and guards that can handle the ball and play out of the pick and roll. And fortunately for us, I feel like this is the perfect matchup for us because Denver, while they do have some competent guys, I just feel like they don't have the type of personnel to exploit our weaknesses. And so it's not a case of, oh, we're so much better than Denver. Like, they shouldn't even been the 3rd seed because they're terrible. But, like, yeah, it's just a case of I really like the matchup without Murray for the Blazers. And in my opinion, the Blazers' strengths should be what carries them in the season, and their weaknesses can't be exploited as much as they could against other teams. And that was evident 2 years ago when the Nuggets kind of tried to trap Dame, but they didn't really have the personnel to do it as effectively as other teams would.
Eric, he said he's a Lakers fan, though.
Okay.
So why is he saying that when he's a Lakers fan?
so your point as to the Lakers are worse than...
Yeah, well...
You wouldn't take the Lakers in a series against the Nuggets? You weren't hoping for that?
Doesn't make sense, man. I mean, the Blazers have already beaten the Nuggets as a lower seeded team. They were the 3 seed, the Nuggets were the 2 seed in 2019, the Blazers beat them. So, man, just dismantled on all accounts. But yeah, as long as other teams' fans come in here and be respectful, though, I'll be respectful towards them. I will respectfully destroy their arguments, but I'll be respectful of them. You know, I'm not going to insult them or whatever. And if they come in here insulting us or insulting chat, then we'll take care of it. We got 4 mods now. So that is how it'll go. That's how we're going to handle it. Did we have any mods last postseason?
I don't think
I think that's when we first added Zach, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, but we were not equipped. The trolls will be coming in fast and furious as the playoffs. They up their level of trolling in the playoffs. They up their game. So, yeah, Taylor Packer says 5 mods. Who's the other mod? I mean, I guess Eric is moderated, but like me and you are mods. So there's 6 of us. You know, 6
or maybe he's like appointing himself. Oh, yes, I'm a self-appointed mod.
Yes. Okay, Taylor. Self-appointed mod with no mod powers.
Yeah.
We'll have to hold an election over the off-season to maybe replace Trevin's spot. Iverson Vlog says, I'm not ready for the playoffs. I'm ready for my blood pressure to be bad. Iverson Vlogs is a Suns fan. So, yeah.
Oh, man,
you guys aren't used to this. We're used to this every year, but it goes from, like, having a series we have no hope in to, like, having a good year. You know, like, well, we had hope in the Pelican series. We get swept by the Pelicans. Then we go to the Western Conference Finals. Then last season we get matched up against the Lakers in the first round. No hope. And then this year we got the Nuggets. So, yeah. Whew. I'm gonna need to give my voice a break, dude. I'm starting to get a headache from talking so much. I need you to keep going, Eric. What else? Ask Eric questions in chat if you'll want.
GK just got timed out by Trevin. Nice. GK tried to say that if he made all the picks for for chat that they would have gone undefeated at one point before, like, this was in the middle of the day when only like half the games. And I went back and looked at the first 5 games he was like 1-3 and one he didn't pick on, and I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I don't even want to talk about picks against the spread.
Sorry, man.
What did I finish?
You were bad today. I think you finished 5th.
Did I really finish 5th?
Yeah, I think funny. Both Zach and Reese.
I threw.
Yeah.
Who won between Zach and Reese? Do you know?
Let me look. But yeah, so I increased my lead. I doubled my lead over chat today because they were bad.
Yeah. Eric's I mean, yeah, I shouldn't have done the last day.
I knew you were going to say that. Reese and Zach actually finished tied.
Did they?
And the funny thing is, they were only 3 games behind chat.
Were they?
Yeah. Trevin fell off.
Wait, they were 9 games behind chat going into today.
There was one push, and it was none of our double downs.
Yeah. But they were 9 games behind going into today. Because they were 14 games back, and chat was 5.
Yeah, chat was 4-11, and Reese and Zach were both 10-5.
And what was I?
You were 5-10.
Yeah.
That's not bad, because you were like 0-8.
I gained a game on chat. I mean, chat did worse than me, but yeah. So very, very bunched up at the end there. So they beat me by 2 games. Zach and Reese did. Nah. But we gotta break that tie though. Wait, what game did Zach call as the tied?
If he would have called the right one.
I know.
Milwaukee ended up losing, but that was the one he said they were going to win by 5.
So we're going to have to do a play-in game for them that they disagree on, and that'll be for a prize. The prize is $100. So top mod gets $100 for this year. So that's what the prize is. Taking your guys' donation money and giving a prize to one of the mods.
Sean, it wasn't that people thought the Pacers were going to lose to the Raptors. It was just that the Pacers could have still won but covered the spread. So,
dude, like I used different logic on different games. Like it didn't use consistent logic, and it was like I consistently lost. I was like 0-8 to start. I brought it back a little bit, but I was like 0-8 on games where I like took the underdog. I took the favorite. The Hornets choked for me. Yeah, I just had real bad luck to end this season. Wasn't good, but oh well. Moving on to bigger and better things.
That's Trevin's whole year.
Yeah, what did Trevin do today? How'd Trevin do?
He was 4-11, I think.
Bro, Trevin.
No, 6-9. Sorry.
Okay.
So he finished 12 games behind you.
Poor Trevin. So I asked chat this. Assuming, like, the 7th seed plays the 2, the 7th seed wins the first playing game, and then the 8th seed wins the next playing game, which series other than the Blazers would you be most looking forward to? Because there's some really good series. It's a lot of the series that I wanted.
Mm-hmm. In the West, obviously Lakers, Suns, I think will be a really interesting series. I just want to see if the Suns are gonna, bow out early against a really good opponent, or if they're gonna have something in the tank for them, and it's a battle. That would be awesome if that series went deep. Honestly, the Warriors have been playing really well lately too. So if they get the 8th seed, the Warriors, Utah is a fabulous 1 versus 8 series. As long as Mitchell's healthy, I'd assume the Utah Jazz are probably going to win that series, but it's still a good one. Clippers, I think, are going to beat the Mavericks.
Well, the Mavericks took them to 6th last year, so it's like, which team has improved the most,
Yeah. I actually haven't looked at the East. What did it end up being in the East?
The East?
Did everyone hold their positions?
The 7-8 plan is Boston and Washington. The 9-10 is Charlotte and Indiana. So Boston, if they win the play-in, assuming like 2-7 and 1v8. 1v8 would be Philadelphia and Washington, which would be pretty interesting, I think, for 1-8.
Well, even Brooklyn, Washington, that's a lot of star players on the court at one time.
Mm-hmm. You got all 3 of the like Harden, Durant, Westbrook trio there in that series.
The series to keep your eye on, which is good if you're a fan of the trade CJ camp, is the Bucks and the Heat in round one. If the Bucks go down, I could see them making a pretty drastic change, like trading Middleton for a different player, or just mixing it up somehow.
Yep.
Or you might even have a guy like Giannis, maybe. I'm not saying the Blazers would get him, but maybe requesting a trade at some point, just because he signed that long contract. He couldn't be traded this year, but that doesn't mean he can't be traded in the future.
And Portland would be a team to watch out for that, because does he have a no-trade clause on that contract yet, or no?
I'm not sure if he has one or not.
But considering he resigned, I feel like they would kind of they would be willing to work with him on where he wants to go if they get a good enough package, because he didn't have to resign. So I don't know. But like, he was rumored to want to play with Dame. So yeah, I mean, if Milwaukee loses in the first round, then opens up maybe some possibilities for Portland, trade-wise.
So yeah, that'll be a very good series. And if Milwaukee somehow beats the Heat, I think that'll do wonders for their confidence moving forward. And they actually have matched up with the Nets really well. I think they actually played them one of the few games that the Nets were in full strength, or at least their big three played. And they had no answer for Giannis, and he went off on that game. And I think the Bucks might have beat them, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's a tough matchup in the second round for the Nets. So if the Bucks can get out of the first couple rounds, I like their chances of going deep in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, and
they have one interesting thing too is you look at Brooklyn, and with those three guys healthy, Harden, Kyrie, and Durant, it's like how in the heck can any team stop that? But the Bucks, with Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis, are one of the few teams that actually have three guys defensively. Obviously, you're not going to shut those guys down, but three of the more capable guys on one team that could actually match up pretty well with them defensively as well.
Yeah. So what?
So those are the two series I'm looking forward to the most. Are the Bucks Heat and the Lakers Suns. It's really fun. Like, I don't really care who wins the Hawks and Knicks series, but that's crazy that one of those two teams will for sure be in the second round.
For real.
If you would have told me that at the beginning of the year, that'd be crazy.
Who are you taking in that series?
Dang, man, that's tough. I like the Knicks, or not the Knicks. I actually like the Hawks in that series because, as good as the Knicks are defensively, I think they're going to have trouble with both Capella and Trae Young. But at the same time, I feel like Randall's going to abuse John Collins a little bit. So, yeah, I could see it going either way, but I kind of think the Hawks are harder to stop than the Knicks. But Tibbs has done an amazing job with that team. Well, Nate's done a good job with Atlanta since he took over as well.
Yep, coaching changes have no effect. That series says otherwise.
But Torrey, they slowed down the offense to help their defensive rating.
Oh my goodness. We will have a play-ins predictions, maybe, I don't know. We might, should we do 3 Blazers Uprise Lives this week? I don't know. Because there's a lot of like stream content for Blazers Uprise Live that we don't normally have. I want to do awards picks. I want to do playoff bracket picks. And obviously we can preview the series a little bit more. We'll figure out what we're doing, because I want to do all of that this week before the playoffs start. Because I want to get like a full bracket. That would be fun to do for like our mods, and I'll throw Jackson in that since he's helping with us this postseason. And of course, we'll recap picks against the spread, final records, all that type of stuff. But yeah, so if you want to stay up to date with what we plan on doing content-wise on the channel, on both of our channels, our main channel and our secondary streaming channel, make sure to follow the channel's Twitter page at BlazersUpriseYT. Twitter links are in the description below. That's the easiest way to just go do it. We need Sue Eric. What did we Suit Eric. For the mock-off season draft, maybe we'll get Suit Eric. I got a suit too. Maybe we'll dress up in suits for the mock-off
Zach
season
says
draft.
to read Discord DMs real quick.
Discord DMs. Alrighty. So Zach says he and Reese have agreed to a Warriors-Lakers playing game pick'em. Reese thinks the Lakers will win. Zach thinks the Warriors will win. So that's for the picks against the spread tiebreaker.
Zach's giving up the points. He doesn't even care.
I guess so. He said he thinks the Warriors will win outright, so he's doing it in a pick'em. He's doing it in a pick'em. So if the Warriors win, Zach essentially, I give Zach $100. If the Lakers win, I give Reese $100. So Reese, you probably want the Blazers to avoid the Lakers. Do you want the Lakers to be the 7th seed so you win that, or do you want the Lakers to still lose so the Blazers have a chance to get into the Western Conference Finals? What matters more? I'm going to test Reese's priorities here.
Taylor Packer changed his name.
Taylor the 5th mod Packer. Isaac's not going to like that one. Reese says, I just want 100. Wow, Reese. So you're not rooting. So you're not a Blazers fan. You a fake Blazer? You've been pretending this whole time? Is that why he's such a? Maybe he was actually like. That's why he was such a Vucevic fan, because he wasn't a Blazers fan. I don't know. That's sus, man. Might be looking for another mod. I don't know. Move Reese's mod. Yeah. Come on, Reese. I didn't think it was gonna be that easy, bro. That explains why he hates on our players so much.
Reese is only here for the
Reese
money,
exposed.
even though he had no idea that there was a prize until last night.
I know. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna have to interrogate Reese and get to the bottom of this to see if he's actually a Blazer fan. What else you want to talk about? We're almost 2 hours in. I need Tylenol. I need to rest.
Sorry, man.
No, it's fine. It's all good. I was doing okay. I don't know. That's what happens when I talk too much. It just resonates in my head and it gives me a headache.
Shervin, what was the quote? I did not see it. He asked if we saw Dame's quote.
The thing is, that could apply to multiple things, though. Do you want to watch interviews? We can watch interviews.
Sure.
Let's start with Dame's. Let's just watch Dame's interview. And that'll give me a little break.
All right.
And I'll keep the stream going. Let's put Dame up on here. If you guys want us to, we can watch all the interviews together.
Dame,
So let's put this up there like we normally do. I need to put it above Eric. There we go. Sorry, that's my streaming software. Don't worry about it. Okay. Let's listen to Dame first. 10-minute interview.
Dame, as you think about facing the Nuggets, I was just curious, is that series win in Denver that sent you guys to the Western Conference Finals a couple years ago, is that a psychological edge for you guys, do you think, knowing that you can go in there in a big game and beat them? You beat them there earlier in the series, too.
I mean, I think there's something to be said about it. You know, I think they're a different team now, and at that time, I think we were also a different team. You know, a lot of different players. Our makeup was different, but I think our ability to do that is just as strong, if not stronger, with the team that we have now. And I think what we do have mentally is like just that knowing that we're capable of going in and doing that, you know, going in and winning a game on the road, or winning multiple games on the road, and also winning a big one on the road if we have to. We know that we're capable. You know, our team is still led by me and CJ. we comfortable knowing that we've experienced it and we've done it before. But we're not coming into this series looking at it like, well, we did it 2 years ago, so it can be done now. They're different. Jokic is an even better player now, which is, he was great then, and he's a better player now. I feel like they're a deeper team now. So, we got our hands full, but, it's a good matchup for us and one that we feel like we're more than capable of winning. So we just got to rest up and get ready for it.
Oh, good old ad. What is this ad?
The other thing I like
StreamYard. Nope. We use OBS here. Let me center it more real quick. Let me do that. Any thoughts on what he said?
Not really. I think that was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, good way to look at it. They are a completely different team now than they were back then. So I agree with it.
Before I go to the next question, just a heads up, CJ McCollum will be available in the locker room Zoom shortly. Next question is coming from Jason Quick with The Athletic.
I gotta center it more. I didn't center it enough, Eric. I don't know why. It's like off center all of a sudden. Oops. What'd you say?
It wasn't that bad. But
Yeah, I'm just trying to get it right. There we go. Cool.
Dame, what differentiates this from the 7 others you've been associated with?
What the difference
Differentiates
from the first 7?
Yeah.
Jason Quick lagging, man. Somebody get that man an Ethernet cable. I don't even remember. Let's not open up this can of worms again. What differentiates this year's playoff team from the previous 7 playoff years? That was essentially the gist of the question.
From the first 7?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think this season has just been different. We've in the middle of the season losing Nurk and losing CJ, so many injuries, myself getting banged up, us having such a rough stretch towards the end of the season, and then finding our way out of it and playing our best basketball of the season at the right time. I think that's what feels the most different is the fact that we experienced a really low moment or really low moments as a group, and we received a lot of criticism. We were hard on ourselves internally as well, and we came out of it playing our best basketball of the season at the right time, like I said. And I'm not sure. I don't remember a time of us, being in this type of groove in this fashion going into the postseason and all of those other seasons.
Aaron Fentress, the Oregonian.
I mean, given all you guys have been through this season, Coach Stoss talked about how this might be one of the more major accomplishments you guys have had since he's been here, which coincides with your arrival. What do you think about where you guys are right now, given all you guys have gone through?
Wait, hold on. Why is Jackson and Zach? Oh, what are y'all doing? I'll figure that out after the stream. They banned my I accidentally commented on my personal account and they hid. Jackson put me in a 5-minute. Zach, the veteran, makes the rookie mistake and puts me in a permaban.
What the heck?
I don't get it.
What's wrong with you guys?
I don't get it. Maybe they thought it was an impersonator, which I think is probably the case. That's funny though.
Yeah.
Why aren't you a mod on my own channel? Because I don't need to be. Go ahead, Eric.
What's funny about the Jason Quick, legging out there or whatever. Mm-hmm. 2 weeks ago on his interview on 1080, he came on and he sounded like the devil. It was like, I don't know. It was like so weird. They recorded all of it, him saying
That's
stuff, and so now he's having more internet issues.
Yeah, the Athletic needs to pay for better internet for that, man. I mean, our internet has been we don't really have problems at all now. Knock on wood.
There was that weird stretch at the very beginning of the season where every afternoon live stream was like lagging out hardcore.
Yeah. I wasn't
And
like
and ever since then, it was been fine.
yeah, I wasn't connected with a Ethernet cable though. I don't think so. Yeah, I guess that
No,
probably
you
got
were.
fixed.
Yeah,
Was I?
it was like Comcast going down.
Yeah,
or
it was
something.
Comcast. So, but now it's completely fine. I don't know. So, watch, I'm gonna lag soon because I said that. But
He's been here, which coincides with your arrival. What do you think about where you guys are right now, given all you guys have gone through?
I mean, in the locker room, as we broke our huddle, I said, this is what we do. I'm a big wrestling fan, and everybody don't get to participate in the Royal Rumble, but we've been in the Royal Rumble 8 years straight. We haven't been the last man standing yet, but, we in there every time. We one of the teams in there. Sometimes we've been the first team thrown over the rope. We've been, almost one of the last few thrown over the rope, and we just continue to be there. A lot of teams haven't been there in a long time. A lot of teams are in and out. Some teams have been there just like we have, just hasn't been the last man standing either. So I think it is something to be said about our effort year after year after year, regardless of what the circumstances are, regardless of what the adversity we run into at whatever point of the season. We find a way. It's what we do. We find a way to give ourselves a chance at the postseason. And 8 years straight is proof of that. And, I know not a lot of people view us as a contender. I know a lot of y'all, don't view us as a serious contender and, have things to say. And it's fine. But what we do is give ourselves a chance every postseason, and we go into it believing that we can be a team that make a run. And if we don't believe that, we don't have a chance. So, this team, we coming into this postseason, like, not to just say this is our 8th straight. We coming in to try to make something happen. If it don't, it don't. But we coming in here to get something done. And that's what our plan is.
Thanks.
okay, so thoughts on that? He says we come in here to get something done. A lot of you don't view us as a contender. Well, a contender would say we're coming in here to win a championship, not get something done. Just my opinion, but.
So Trevin asked if that's the longest playoff streak. I believe the Blazers at 8 is the current longest streak. So they got that going for them. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of like him calling out the people who don't think they have a chance. But yeah, I don't have a serious problem. I think he's just kind of trying to be more political than saying what he really wants to say right now.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, they gotta. Like, does this team even view itself as a contender? You know what I mean? Like, he didn't say we're a contender or we're coming in here to win a championship. You know what I mean? And I haven't heard him say that at all. So it's like I have questions of like, how much of a contender do they view him? He's like, if we don't get it done, we don't get it done. It's like, do you guys view yourself as a contender? Like, there's difference between like being confident going into the playoffs and viewing yourself as a contender. And I'm not 100% sure this team even views themselves as contenders.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're the 6th seed, you know what I mean? Like, there's justification behind everything that's being said. So I don't think it's like something where he like thinks those people are ridiculous or is like really trying to call him out. But I don't know. Interesting though.
Yeah, I mean, some of that too is I think it's just a case of, I mean, if you come out and say, yeah, we can win a championship, like you're kind of maybe dismissing Denver a little bit. So yeah, I hope.
No, I don't.
I mean, it is kind of cliche, but they do have to take it one series at a time and not really worry about
like long term.
But yeah.
Long term goal, like you say, our goal in the end is to win a championship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We think we have a chance of winning a championship, and that's our goal. And we think we can beat anybody, and we think we can contend. Like, that's not necessarily downplaying Denver or anything, but it's like, I don't know. Like, I haven't. The way it's just like, I don't know. I don't have a problem with anything he said. It's just kind of interesting because it's like he calls out people for saying that they're not contenders, but then he doesn't say anything that makes me think like in contrast that they think in contrast. You know what I mean? That he thinks in contrast. So it was a little weird, but Anyway, move on.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I'd be surprised if Dame didn't think they had a chance. But there is some. I mean, obviously, we saw how happy he got just winning the second round and feeling like that was the best accomplishment ever at the time. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough, but yeah, I do appreciate the mindset if you believe in yourself, but I still feel I don't know. I don't think Dame doubts himself though. So at the same time, I don't think he has to say it to prove that to me that he's thinking that.
Yeah. Anyway, all right.
Sanchez, KGW.
Dame, how proud are you of this team to be able to get to this point, to get 42 wins on the season, to win 10 out of 12, and put your guys in this position to make a run?
I mean, I'm really proud. I think we should all be proud anytime, you can be one of the teams to give yourself a chance to compete in the postseason, like I said, because so many people wish they could be one time, let alone, constantly having a chance at it. Like I mentioned earlier, I feel like this year we've experienced just so many bumps in the road. And we still found ourselves here. We found a way, and I think that's the thing to be most proud of is just the fact that we never shied away from it. We never made an excuse, and we never went our separate ways. In a season where we got probably our most adversity since I've been here, we stayed true to what we've always been, and that's together. And we show up and do our work, and we just have trust and faith that we're gonna get to where we should be, and we did it again. So I'm really proud of what we've accomplished so far this season.
Gold's Gym ad. I don't go to Gold's Gym personally.
Old school.
Coming back to Dwight James.
Dame, there's an old saying that whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I'm wondering if you feel that thing kind of applies to you guys this year, going through those tough times.
Yeah, I think so. I think anybody who's been in, through tough things, not just in basketball games, in life, I think anybody who's come out of tough situations or survived in those tough situations, they know that to be true. And not only from my experience in sports, but my experience in my life. I know that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And it's because of that experience and the confidence that you get from, being low and being down on yourself and not feeling good about things, and then getting to a point where it's okay again. I think when you experience that, it builds you up. It makes you stronger. It makes you more confident. It makes you more comfortable. It makes you more prepared for whatever is thrown in your direction. And I think that's been us this season.
James Hill, BNC Sports.
Dame, congratulations on all of your success. The last time we talked about the Blazers 77, the championship team, you've been able to get this team to the Western Conference Finals. You guys are competing at a high level. And, when the playoffs come around, everybody in Rose City and Rip City, we love watching the Blazers in the playoffs. Can you just talk about, taking this team to the next level and continuing to put the work in? And you guys are doing that again this year.
Yeah, I mean.
Who was that?
Something Hill.
Huh. Never heard that guy talk before.
I mean, like I've been saying this whole time, we do the work, we stay together, we have faith in ourselves, and we find ourselves here again. And for me personally, I can't express like my desire and how bad I want to win it. So I want that more than anything, not just to say I won the championship, but I want to do it in this city. I want to have a parade on Broadway and ride past El Gaucho. Like, that's what I think of, like, every time the playoffs are starting, I'm going into it like, is this going to be the year, you know, that we shock the world or that we come up big? 2 years ago, I thought it was going to happen. I was like, we right here in the Western Conference Finals. You know, we right here. And it just wasn't our time. But every time we get here, I'm like, that's what my mind is on. And some people might look at it like, oh, they can't do that or they don't have the team. And regardless of what's the truth or not the truth, my mind is on the fact that I think we can do it. And if everybody thinks that and everybody believes that, like, that's when it happens.
There you go.
Did you know that every time you
There we go. Okay. That was oh, it's a bikini. Oh. maybe
That's
do need to.
when
My eyes.
XC Depp was in chat saying, "Don't be cheap, pay for premium." I got premium, just not on a Blazers Uprise account. I'm not gonna pay for twice the premium. I like ads. Ads are fun.
it can be done. And, you know, people who won it in the past, players and coaches that I've spoken to over the last few weeks, they say the same thing. You can lead a team to get it done, but everybody has to believe it. And you got to really push that. And that's kind of like where my head is. Like, I want it for this city. I want it for myself. I want it for the team. Like, we've done everything else. And we should be excited to be back in this playoff or tournament, you know, to have a chance to win it again.
All right, there you go. Felt like you got to ask the same questions throughout the interview, but
Yeah.
pretty well spoken.
Like Trevin said, he did a good
About this-
job of
the
like
final-
answering the same questions differently.
Mm-hmm. Let's watch
Nurk,
Nurkic's.
congrats on the win. You
I don't really want to watch stats. We'll watch Nurkic's and be done.
get about a week, and then you're going to see these
All right.
guys again. What do you think about a Blazers Nuggets first round series?
Great.
You missed the last one. Does that make
Nurkic, dude. I love Nurk. Oh, I love Nurk. Nurk's so funny. I'm just restarting it.
Nurk, congrats on the win. You get about a week, and then you're going to see these guys again. What do you think about a Blazers Nuggets first round series?
Great.
You missed the last one. Does that make it have any more meaning for you?
Not necessarily. Of course, I'm excited for playoffs, and you know, like I said, kind of that position was taken away from me, so I definitely not going to take for granted that. So now I'm really excited to be part of something. So I think this is a great opportunity for us to be healthiest as possible for the playoffs. Obviously, minus Zach, but you know, this is you know, a huge thing for me for sure.
Orlando Sanchez, KGW.
Nurk, congrats on the win. What'd you think about the way this team ended the season to win 10 out of 12 and really get it going and playing your best basketball of the season?
Yeah, I think it was not a surprise. I think everybody know that we kind of the end of this season kind of wrap up, and then I guess the stuff getting easier for us. And I think you know, tonight I definitely know we're going to show up because the game means so much for us because we've been in the bubble in the playoff, you know, in the tournament too. So if anybody know how that feel, we know it. You know, with no extra days off and like our 8 games there was like a playoffs game. We couldn't do, you know, rest. We couldn't do anything. So we basically like 10 games straight was like playoff tournament. So we want to avoid that. So I think that was our mindset from the whoever happened, you know, whatever happened in the end, that we got to show up and win this game.
Jason Quick, The Athletic.
Nurk, how would you describe your relationship with Jokic?
I think it's great. I think our relationship never been like cold or any you know, media stuff. You know, they do their part, but we talking, you know, texting. Obviously, the COVID got in a way we'd never, you know, really much since the bubble we couldn't go out and dinners and stuff. But I think it's great. You know, our relationship was, you know, even there when I was there, really good.
And then how would you say that you prepare to guard him? Is that a different beast than others?
I mean, it's a team effort. I think he playing at such a high level right now, whole season. I think if Dame not going to win the MVP, I think he's going to win MVP. He should win MVP. I will not be mad at all. You know, I'll be happy for him for real. He playing some, you know, obviously everything is go around him. they have a great system they put together for him. I think, with no doubt, I don't know, a lot of people's looking the stands and, all the MVP, difference. I think, he have a really ridiculous number. So I think he's supposed to be the MVP, and I wish him definitely, if not Dame, I would really be happy to he be MVP. He deserves it for sure. As far as, like I said, I think it's team effort to guard a player like that with a system like that. It take more than just one player, like you guard LeBron or KD. Just when everything in one guy, he can really pass the ball and willing passer. It's obviously they shorthanded without Murray and Barton, but they still a dangerous team. When you obviously not as dangerous as like I said, with those two players out, but they still can make some noise.
Can you remember,
Sorry, go ahead, Jason.
Go ahead. Can you remember and describe what it was like watching that series 2 years ago?
It's crazy, man. I mean, you want to be something, part of something special, and the way they happen, and I'm on the couch and they play, I can feel the energy, especially with playoffs with the fans. And now it's just like when I see the fans out there, even with 10% capacity, it just make you like those, I don't know, it's just butterflies in my stomach. Like I just want to be like excited for it. It just, no matter who we play, obviously the Clippers or Denver, like you said, now we're going Denver, but all the different stuff. I'm just excited to get back to normal. People get vaccinated and try to save lives as much as possible with this thing, and hopefully we can get back to normal. That's probably the most important thing. Especially what's going on in the world right now, it's just ridiculous.
Leonardo Torres.
Hi, Nurkic. It's Leonardo Torres from Peru. Congrats on the win. Nurk, do you think the team will reach the playoffs playing its best basketball of the season?
I think so. I think everybody agree on that. The slip we have at home, like we all wish we didn't have those couple games or 5 or some games losing streak home. I think that hurt us going forward, but I think we need some type of slips like that to say this is really not it. We're better than that. And so I think that the bad teams, when it happen, that just give up. And you can tell that we are not that type of team. Even when stuff happen like that, we pick it up and get better from that.
James Hill, BNC Sports.
Hey, Nurk, congratulations on all your success. For as long as I can remember, when the Blazers are in the playoffs, it's one of the best times of the year in Portland. Can you talk about being a part of the Blazers and winning games and moving into the playoffs?
Probably I'm not the one who's supposed to talk about that, but I'm excited. It just, wish, like I said, it's regular time so we can see 20 plus thousand fans in the building and environment. But you can tell that just, when I walk outside in Portland, people get really excited about playoffs and they need something, to cheer after this, hard time we're going through.
And last question is coming from AJ McCord with Coin.
Eric, it didn't hit me till you were talking about the fans being back, but you haven't played in Moda in a playoff game in front of fans since 2018. Can you even imagine? You've loved the fans being back for these final few games. Can you imagine the boost that's going to give you in the playoffs?
Yeah, like you said, it's been, I don't know, just time. It sounds crazy, 2-3 years, 2018. But like I said, I hope the Oregon right now, I don't know, restrictions with the government, but I hope just getting better and, maybe vaccinated people can come in the game. So I don't know. I'm not the one who's supposed to decide that, but I hope and I pray. So it's going to be really interesting to see, especially when we get back, like you said, in the Motor Center. It just, to me, it brings every, different dimension. When you see the fans and you can see the players' faces and the excitement to see people around, I think it's just pure joy.
Alrighty, so there's Nurkic. Well, said a lot of the same things that Dame did. I feel like questions about like what they need to do against Denver will be coming in the next. They got 5 days off most likely.
Yeah.
I assume that the series that don't involve playing teams will be the first series to the first series to start on Saturday. So
yeah, the 3-6, 4-5s in both conferences should start Saturday if that rings true, and then the 1-8, 2-7 should start Sunday. I think that's the fairest way to do it.
Yeah, that makes the most sense, but I don't know if that's going to be the case or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Have you seen anything on? I haven't been able to take a look when they're announcing the schedules.
No, so the Blazers will have their schedule. I don't know when the playoff schedule is going to drop. Gonna have to wait and see on that. When it comes to our schedule for Blazers Uprise Live, we'll still be streaming Blazers Uprise Live Monday and Thursday. On game days, we'll go live at 3:30 p.m. as kind of a game preview, with the game being later that day. On non-game days, we'll be streaming the plan is 9:30 p.m. Pacific time, later at night. So that is kind of the plan for Blazers Uprise Live. I think that makes the most sense. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. Anything you got anything on the top of your mind, or you want to wrap up this stream?
No, I mean, I'm feeling strangely confident. I don't like to feel confidence in this
You
team.
don't like feeling confidence, huh?
Well, not with. I've just been burned too many times throughout my life in these situations. So I'm not going to get overconfident, even though I was talking crap to that Jokic MVP dude in here earlier. But, like, at the end of the day, we still have a coach that I don't feel totally confident with in a playoff situation, so that might be our downfall once again. I'm hoping that is not the case, and I hope... I mean, honestly, I'd rather be completely wrong about Stotts and him win a championship and I'll take whatever comes my way from saying that he can never win a championship as a head coach. I'd rather have that situation than to have him be our coach and never truly even make the finals or contend. So, yeah, I'm hoping this year's different. I'm hoping the fact that they have time to prepare, unlike most postseasons, will let this coaching staff be invigorated a little bit and get some new things going, and build upon the success of the last 12 games instead of just being happy that they played well recently and hoping that carries into the playoffs, because I'm going to be kind of mad if they just show up thinking that, oh, we've been playing good, we just have to show up and win again, which is what always is my worry with this team. So as long as we don't have that, I feel like we should almost be the favorites in this series.
Yep. Expect videos this week, by the way, for the first time in a long time. That's why I like that we're not playing in the playing game. I can take some time out to do videos and whatnot. So we only got 2 streams this week. The Blazers' next game should be Saturday. So we'll stream Monday and Thursday right now is the plan. Tomorrow, maybe we'll do... Thursday, I think we'll do playoff predictions and maybe preview the series a little bit more. Tomorrow, I don't know what the plan is, but we'll be streaming at 9:30 tomorrow and 9:30 on Thursday. That is the plan, 9:30 p.m. So, other than that, everybody's asking for bans in chat. I don't know why. There's a bunch of people trying to get banned at this point. But yeah, I'm confident too. I'm looking forward to the series. Looking forward to break this down. Looking forward to covering it. Looking forward to putting out a new graphics package that I'll work on over the next 5 days. I already got an idea for kind of how I want to do it. If you guys have any ideas for slides, I want to have like a team stats slide and try and come up with like a good NBA scoreboard slide if possible. I don't know what the easiest way to do that is, but yeah, I'm trying to like make it a little bit more dynamic. So if you guys have ideas, tweet them or message them to me, DM them to me, or message me on Discord. So yeah. Other than that, anything else, Eric?
No, sorry everyone for missing the beginning of the show. And Tori, thanks for holding it down last minute. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yep, I got you, bro. So we'll be live again tomorrow night over on our second channel. Link is at the top of the description box below. That's Blazers Uprise Live. Make sure you go subscribe. If you leave a like, it does help us out. It'd be cool to hit 200 likes. I don't know if we've hit 200 likes on a post-game show so far this season. We're at 175. So if we could hit 200 likes, that would be pretty dope, and I'd greatly appreciate it. This stream has been popping off like I expected. A lot of people very interested in today's slate of action. It was awesome to have 15 games, and the play-in just made things so interesting today. I think it worked out very, very well. So I'm looking forward to the series, and I'm looking forward to watching the playing games. I'm gonna relax, kick back, watch Warriors versus Lakers, be grateful that we're not playing in that game, and see how that turns out. Reese and Zach got something riding on that, That's their picks against the spread tiebreaker. So, gonna really enjoy the next 5 days or so, and then we'll see what we can do against the Denver Nuggets. I think we can get the job done, but obviously we have to remain and see. So anyway, follow me on Twitter at ToryJonesYT. Eric is at HoopsJock. The channel is at Blazers Uprise YT. Make sure you go follow us there. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Other than that, I think we got 5. See, that's why I don't ask for likes. I think we got 5 likes, Eric. We got 5 likes. Come on, guys. You guys could do better than that. We got 250 people here. I got 5 likes. This is disappointing. Anyway,
Omar, we've answered that like 5 times. I think the Lakers will end up winning.
Yes. It'll be a close game. It'll be entertaining. Steph Curry against LeBron. I mean, what more could you ask for? Anthony Davis has been struggling. So I think the Warriors got a chance. But that game will be taking place on Wednesday at 7 p.m. So I'll tweet out my thoughts on the playing games. I plan on watching all of them at this point. And, yeah. Anything left to plug, Eric? Am I forgetting anything?
Nope. See everyone who wants to tune in tomorrow night. Blazers Uprise Live.
Blazers Uprise Live. We will see you then. Hope you have a good rest of your night. Hope to see you tomorrow. If not, we should see you later this week or this weekend once the playoffs truly kick off. Until whenever I catch you next, hope life is good. And I hope you have a good rest of your night tonight. We will see you tomorrow. As always, peace out. Go Blazers.